okugamba nti ono mutuufu byagala. Akati bagenda omubuuza ekibuuzo ekyo nga already yagenza okuva waka nga akatabo katunulamu ka Pep Guardiola. Era kigambibwa nti Pep Guardiola ne Thomas Tuchel nga Tuchel akyali muto nga akyayiga okutendeka ebintu bino nga tannafuukamu experience nga Pep experience gy'alina. Omuntu gwe yalinga alukinga okuba yalinga Pep Guardiola. Era kigambibwa nti yamusabako okwo yawandiikako n'ebbaluwa ng'egamba nti Pep nkusisinkaneko either ku kalanki oba ku ka breakfast twogeremuuko. So emboozi nali ndaba biography y'omukulu Thomas Tuchel ng'alaga nti musajja mwagazi nnyo w'omupiira gwa Pep Guardiola ogw'okugaba ogwo. Lwakuba tikitaka eyo Pep si ye yagireeta kubanga yatandika dda biseera biri eri ebyaba Frank Rijkaard nga bakyatendeka omupiira ku ttiimu ya Barcelona kuba oli yajja agamba nti tikitaka ate okulaba ba Man City ng'egaba ttaaki emu 2-3 ne batuuka mu ggoolo. Pep si ye yagireeta abatendesi baaliwo awo abaakirera ba Frank Rijkaard abakikolako kaawo abaasiba okubeera nga bakitendeka ku ttiimu ya Barcelona. So bw'oba ng'olowoozaamuuko abantu bano ababiri abagenda okubeera nga batuuka olunaku olw'olwairo tuyinza kubeera nga ate munange obayisaamuko amaaso. Tuyingira mupiira guno nga ffenna tukimanyi bulungi nti Manchester City mu byabwe tebatuukangako ku UEFA Champions League final bukyanga batandikawo. Era tewaliwo omutendesi yali amalirize ng'ogyeko Josep Pep Guardiola. Chelsea bo wano batuukawo dda kakati guno ogenda kubeera mulundi gwa kusatu nga batuukawo kinajjukirwa mu 2008 Chelsea eno yennyini nyini yatuukawo ne ttiimu ya Man United abajjukira mu Luziniki Stadium abajjukira John George Terry ng'aserera okuba penalty ebweru. Ebiseera ebyo ebyaba Edwin van der Sar Wayne Makrule ekikopo ekyo nga bakyetikka. Omukulu oyo yatuukawo bulungi Chelsea ekikopo ne kimulema otwala e Russia. Then baddamu kutuukawo mu 2012 era final ezo baazizanya na Bayern Munich eri ku Allianz Arena mu maka makulu aga Bayern Munich. Awo Chelsea netwala ekikopo ekyo gwali gwa penalties abajjukira kubanzijjukira awo Van Gundi ono omudamu German yali vudde mutwe Bastian Schweinsteiger yakuba penalty ku kikondo. Then Arjen Robben ne bamusevinga awo mu 9. Then Didier Drogba n'akuba penalty yasalawo ekikopo kya UEFA Champions League final ya 2012 nga Chelsea ekitwala. Ebiseera ebyo Chelsea yali y'amaanyi nnyo ba Frank Lampard b'ebiseera ebyo. So bazzeemu kutuukawo wayiseewo akaseera kawanvu malamu okuva 2012 paka olwaleero emyaka egyo egiyiseewo nga Chelsea erwana okudda waawo ku final naye nga tetuukawo. Ekimu ku bikutegeeza nti ekikopo kino si kikopo kitini nnyo. Ekimu ku bikutegeeza nti ekikopo kino ky'abaminywera. Ekimu ku bikutegeeza nti ekikopo kino ky'abanene bokka. Abanafu baviirako eri wansi mu kaseera k'okukwalifayinga abo. City abayingira mupiira gw'olunaku lwaleero nga balina bingi eby'okukakasa ensi nti bali mu bukadde nga 445 bw'obakwatamuko sikwadi yaabwe bw'oba ogigasegasa abazanyi be bakateekamu ensimbi. Sente nezo zennyini Man United nayo zeetaddemu bw'ogerageranya emyaka 10 emabega naye bw'obakwatamu awo n'oba weyinga ku mikopo emyaka egisembyeyo ne Pep emikopo byasobola okubeera ng'atwalamu egyo emyaka 5 egisembyeyo. City ng'eteekamu ensimbi ne Man U ng'eteekamu. Ojja kwesanga nti ate Man U etaddemu nnyo ate City n'eteekamu n'efunamu. Kakati Chelsea nga bali mu bukadde nga 380 ze bataddemu mu myaka 5 emabega. City bali mu bukadde 445. Kitegeeza nti bazze bateekamu ensimbi eziwera okutuukawo waneeno kubanga kitwala bingi. Kitwala talent ne kitwala sporting director w'omulimu gwakola ate era ne kitwala n'omukisa. Nti ebiseera ebisinga ojja kwesanga nti osayiniza omuzannyo omulungi yakuwa example ng'eya Team of Ghana nti yali ku Rosenborg Sport Leipzig ng'amagoolo buli wayagalira ateeba buteebi naye ate bwe yajja eno nga Chelsea emusayinira ku bukadde nga 56 nga buli omu alowooza nti goolo ajja kuziteeba tebyatambula bulungi nga bwe baali balowooza. So mu mbeera bwetyo kitwala bingi okutuukawo waneeno. Olugendo lwa ttiimu y'abanafu aba Chelsea ne ttiimu y'abanafu aba Man City okutuuka waneeno we tuli olunaku olw'olwaleero Chelsea mubajjukira mu kibinja mwalimu Stadens mwalimu Sevilla ogatta ne Krasnodar y'eggwanga erya Russia. Wano Chelsea yava mu kibinja nga yekikulembedde kubanga Abarenzi babakuba 2-1 Sevilla ne banyokya ennyo obwereere. Krasnodar ne bakola naye amaliri ne bagenda ku luzanyo lwa Dakar ne bazanya Atletico Madrid ne bagikuba eggooli mu kubwerere wali ku Wanda Metropolitan Stadium. Then ne bakomawo na ku Stamford Bridge Chelsea ne wangula comfortably goolo zaali 2 ku bwerere. Then ne babawa Porto ne bagikuba eggoolo zaali 2 ku bwerere nga bagenzi wano wennyini ne wano tebaali ku Estadio do Dragao kubanga tujjukira ebiseera ebyo Covid yali mungiko ne bagenda ku neutral ground. Tewaliwo omwandaawe newankubadde nga bazanya first leg ne second leg naye bakubira mu kisaawe kyekimu Chelsea newangulirawo eggoolo zaali 2 ku bwerere. Kaakati ate omupiira ogwaddako ku Stamford Bridge Chelsea ate bagikubirawo eggolo yali emu ku bwereere Potonga ye bawangula ndowooza mujjukira omupiira ogwo gwasembayo Chelsea bagikuba ku densi omupiira guno atera ddala kumpi okuggwa akasajja ne kabakuba makansi nekwata akatimba then awo babawa ttiimu ya Real Madrid Madrid ne bakola naye amaliri na ku Estadio Santiago then ne bajja wano ku Stamford Bridge Chelsea neyolesa obukugu obw'amaanyi neyokuba ttiimu ya Real Madrid eggolo zaali biri ku bwerere mwogwo omupiira mwe mwalimu Erinazari nga guggwa anacelebratinga n'abazanyi ba Chelsea abawagizi ba Madrid ne beekyanga nnyo ndowooza mubijjukira ebyo abasajja banyiiga nga bagamba lwaki ate ojaguza ne bali nga ate oli ku saidi yaffe so lwe lugendo olwo lwa ttiimu ya Chelsea okutuuka ku final olunaku olwaliro Manchester City bo baali mu kibinja omwali Olympiacos Piraeus ojja kwogera ku Olympic Marseille oyogere ku Borussia Mönchengladbach abaali awo bonna ne bajjanga babasabula omupiira mulamba kubanga Borussia Mönchengladbach ya round of 16 bagikuba eggolo zaali biri ku bwerere awe ne bagirumba wano ewaka ku Italiana ne bagyokerawo biri bwerere so olwaliro basinkana ttiimu ya Dortmund ku kwota ne bagyokya 2-1 ne bagiddamu 2-1 nga bagenze eri mu ggwanga ku Signal Iduna Park mu amaka amakulu aga Dortmund then ne basinkana ttiimu ya Paris Saint-Germain ne bagyokya 2-1 ng'eri wali ku Parc des Princes nga baneema mwebali nga Mbappe mwebali Riyad Mahrez n'afuuka ekizibwa awo then era ne babasisinkana wano eno ku Etihad ne babokyerawo 2-1 lwe lugendo olwo lwaki Manchester City eri mu mpaka zino eza UEFA Champions League finals then ku final tugenda kuyingira mupiira guno nga tukimanyi bulungi nti Abagermany kati nga Thomas Tuchel tulabyeko Abagermany abatuuse ku finals omulundi ogusooka ne babakubirayo then final ne bakomawo ate era mu season eddako yennyini era ne bawangula Champions League yakwogera ku ya Penkes mujjukira yatuuka ku final ne bamukubirayo ogwasooka ogwaddako n'addamu n'atuuka ku final n'agiwangula Klopp ajjukirwa ku UEFA Champions League final Omugermany oyo ng'atuukako ne Madrid baalabyoka abakuba abatte golo zaali 3-1 bwe yakomawo ku finals ekikopo n'akitwala can that be Thomas Tuchel ebibuuzo biri mu ddiiro Manchester City Pep Guardiola n'aligambye nti ndowooza n'ali muyisa assassin olw'obuwanguzi kubanga y'omu ku abo abasajja abali very critical mu kuwangula ddala ng'atuuse weyeetaagira ekikopo era ndowooza olwaleero ejja kubeera do or die clash wakati w'abaana ababiri lineups zimaze okubeera nga zivaayo refali agenda okukomonta firimu y'olunaku bano bamuyita Antonio Mateo Lahoz musajja musipaana era nga Pau Sebrian yagenda okukomonta eri katambaala wansi ku kono then kuli agenda kubeera Roberto Diaz then for the official olunaku baera agenda kubeera Carlos de Rosero yagenda okuwasaganya ensonga lineups nga zivuddeyo ladies and gentlemen Manchester City balina Ederson Moraes mu goolo olunaku olw'olwaliro Ederson Moraes yali musajja munaku nnyo ddala ewaabwe Brazil Ababrazil no abasinga obungi baali baavu bw'ogenda ng'okebera ku biography yaabwe n'ebyafaayo byabwe engeri gye bajjamu okusamba akapiira baali baavu ddala kubanga ono Gabriel Jesus ate yalina musiizi wa langi ng'alonda bikebe ku street so Ederson Moraes famire yaabwe nayo yali njavu ddala okubeera ng'olwaliro atuusa wano kinene nnyo Ruben Diaz bambula miliyoni 64 olwaliro mwali mu center back y'abasajja bana batimya Man City John Stones mwali mu center back y'omu ku bazannya bongedde ku foomu yaabwe ne bayongera okubeera nga beesigibwa Pep then Kyle Walker gyali mu namba 2 nga bulijjo Olizichenko akubisiza yawo Kanchera Katebe gyali mu namba 3 then abasatu wakati ye Ilkay Gundogan abadde mulungi nnyo y'omu ku top scorers batimya Man City asobola okubeera nga evoluvinga foomu ye n'eterera bulungi n'abeera nga y'omu ku nsonga kwe zitambulira then ne Bernardo Silva kugatta ne Kevin De Bruyne then Marcelo nenga ndabayo Phil Foden Raheem Sterling bamulesenga mutebi kugatta ne Riyad Mahrez omwa Nigeria Chelsea balina Eduardo Mendy mu goal newankubadde nga Molly gabadde gagamba nti mulwadde myaka 28 ne balina Antonio Rudiger mwali Omugermany Thiago Silva ogata ne Musainto Rich James then makati wano ndabawo Jorginho Luis Ferran N'Golo Kante senior player then yali mu wide areas ndabayo Benjamin Chilwell ogata ne Caesars Piliqueta Tango then Mason Mount mpira gutandise Kai Havertz ojja kumwogerako kwali ku kisaawe ogata n'omuzanyi team of Vana be bazanyi abo abasobola okubeera nga batandika eri beno Nathaniel Kali Katebe kusabya Man City Ferran Torres Scott Carson Sagi Aguero Gabriel Jesus Sergio Garcia Yao Cancelo Aymeric Laporte Benjamin Mendy Rodriguez Stephanie Fernandinho Luis Rosa bonna bali Katebe olwaliro Kepa Arrizabalaga Olivier Giroud Katsi Zuma Karamadi Sonodoy Andreas Christensen Hakim Ziyech Wilfred Caballero Christian Pulisic Mateo Kovacic Emerson Palmieri ne Bere Giuma ogata ne Marcos Alonso Mendoza bonna bali Katebe olunaku olwaliro tugenda kugabayo okuwonda ebirabo okuva mu Pepsi ngenda kukwatayo kama 10 nga basatu ngompa prediction yo nga bwolowooza omupiira guno bwe gugenda okuggwa nani atwala ekikopo tugenda nga bakatoni za Pepsi toga chance eno ndowooza mwali badde mugitwala nga tetunnabagenda wala nnyo ku noti 7 akadde kano obeere nga ate ombuulirako kikyolowooza ku ndiba eno nga bwegenda okubeera ngaeggwa Semba wanje
oli bulungi
nesebo
kakati yeze meya kalungi
muyite tugende
ndi mu kibuga ky'endolwa
muyite
nzigamba
bbiri agambye bbiri meya kalungi kale njagala kukwata esimu endala nga bbiri kubanga omutendesi refali Mateo Rehosa amaze okubeera nga atujjako wali Semba wangisebo naawe gyebaleko muyite tugende kale golo 2 kale abasigadde emeseji zammwe muziteeka ku 0787277338 bubaka bwammwe nja kubulabaawo wagambye 2 ne 2 n'abayise collective school eyo tujja kuba tugaba ebirabo okuva mu Pepsi teweerabira ne banafa bakedibi kyali nga ttonto so tugendera ku kisaawe ekya Estadio do Dragao Chenda musambu akasirise 3 FMMF Radio Simba eporogoma edembe kuswinyo ya Thomas Tuchel omusomesa okuva mu ggwanga lya German songa ate timu y'abanafa ba Manchester City nebambala akajozi kamwe kana aka navy blue obupale bweru ddala songa yo timu y'abanafa ba Chelsea wansi bulu oli omukwafu ate nga timu y'abanafe aba Chelsea wagulera akajozi kano kenyini akabulu omukwafu pira giri ebiri egisembyeyo nga Leicester City ebakuba ne timu ya Aston Villa ng'ebakuba ali bamanda akajozi kamwe akapya kebagenda okwambala season ejja akalimu mu stripes omwa yellow entonotono bu superstitions z'abagambye okweraguzaalaguza kwabwe mubulu bambala akajozi akakadde nga batuuse ku final mu bitero babeerera ebyomukisa kale no katunde tame vana wuno ne pesi ye agezako okubeera nga abayitako wansi eno ayagala kuwuba bwanoonya nno naye mpira guvuddemu Roen muli ku 97 akasirise 3 FMMF Simba eporogoma edembe tuli eno wama emukote ku kasozi Siza Aspiriki Weta Tanko namukadde oyo agenza akulirira newankubadde ebirungi n'ebibi Chelsea byetuuseeko byonna Siza Aspiriki Weta ku myaka 31 abituuseeko era n'abirabako kinu kyokka kye yali yagadde okubeera ng'akwatamu kwe kubeera nga wakiri alaba ku mudaali guno gwa UEFA Champions League kubanga yajja mu biseera bya 2012 ng'ava ku Olympic Marseille yagenda okujja nga Chelsea olwadde nga batutte ekikopo kino ekya UEFA Champions League wano ku lubogola Simba bakulaga omuzannyo ono Ilkay Gundogan yabadde ateekamu wano enguwala refali n'amugamba nti tubeere bakkakkamu tusambeko ngolongolo Kante wuno wano mu Faransa yagwina myaka 3 ku bazannyi abasinga okuweebwa ekitiibwa n'okwagalibwa obwagalibwa Timo Werner wuno abitandise wano n'abaninyire balire bali wano Chansino Kai Havertz wuno yagwira wano bakola ki bano baleta wano Ederson Mowares aze n'anyweza Ederson Mowares y'omu ku ba net passers ab'omupiira nga bakipa omulala gwenyinza okubaako ndowooza era embula ziro omutandasi wa ttiimu ya Flamingo ayitibwa Rogerio Seni y'omu ku top scorers ab'ebyafaayo nga kipa naye nga amagoolo yagakuba bulungi nnyo ali magoolo 10 n'okudda waggulu Rogerio Seni Brazil kati musomesa mu ggwanga lya Brazil ku ttiimu ya Flamingo akitale sizoni ng'emu emabega yasana okubeera ng'ayamba Flamingo otwala ekikopo munange Ederson Mowares oyo yegatta ku bakipa nga Alisson Becker bamu ku ba fine keepers e Bungereza be tuyina ate nga bwe omutunuza mu lugato waye gugwe guteeke mu katimba akikola bulungi Ederson Mowares ojja kwogerako ne ku Alisson Becker nando zasonde kayongero kitulaga mubali nga basanya timu y'abanaffe bali eri aba West Bromwich Albion golo zali nga muzikidde abakuba omutwe ne gukwata katimba actually golo eyo zezimu ku nsonga lwaki Liverpool mujja kujekulira mu mulago season ejja mu UEFA Champions League waliwo okulwana wano n'engero eno bintu byankwata kukwata enkunyweze akanaini neno kaka n'omula refali agamba ki osadde dodwagawo stand n'abantu abawera kubye mutwalo gumu n'ekitundu nsobola okwogera nga akakaaga aka Chelsea akakaaga aka City then amasigadde bo ba native ab'eggwanga erya Portugal luwogola Simba gwoli nze Shimwa Mansegawa kale muguneno wakati nengera w'amadafu nabadde Kevin De Bruyne banoonya naye ikayibuno ganiwuna atomera ne bakakanya Dybron Chelsea buno badezemu okubeera nga bayiya Benjamin Chilwell asisimu gino Benjamin Chilwell alina gwayagala oyita kalayini wano naye bamulidde elwala refali agamba throw in Bernardo Silva Portugal bali very blessed with new talents nti ne Cristiano Ronaldo ne bw'aba avuddewo alina omusajja obugondagonda ebigere ojja kwogera ku Ruben Neves Neto ojja kwogera ku Bruno Fernandes ojja kwogera ku bano ba Bernardo Silva bonna bavubuka balungi Portugal bali very blessed katonda no wano waliwo kuyiyayiya wano nengera ali amatetekanya Bernardo Silva takiyino wano wabula Antonio Rudiger alekedde wano Thiago Silva kati nabyonoonye Kyle Walker refali agamba ki Matthew Antonio Ramos abagaye tubeere bakakkamu era Simba bakulagana mu kademia ka 37 Thiago Silva baleka bagamba kiraka pepu yabagaye nti mumukube mangu aveemu kubanga kikadde okalaga alisindamu kona nakuya ne bagandi nengala jana muguneno wansi nengalayo eyetolola Phil Foden musayi mutoyo mukubanda abasalidwa n'ebisimanga olweza lwanoga bulungi emyaka gyalina ebikopo byalina n'emidaali gyalina mu drowa alekenta ayinako n'obumu osanga byebyo muli ku kyalo oli myaka 4 kana ka myaka 23 kavuga bima ngenda leo kalabira ddala kana kubazaala mukazaala ngenda kavuga bima kakuyita kaawo mu kawundo ninaye kano olyawo okuba matatu agali olyawo oli ku mweso muli ku luno nga wasigala kolima agali ye mwana ono Phil Foden emikisa gy'alina kino gye bagamba Chelsea noyino timu ya Chelsea bagenda gyokya ssaawa yonna wano Chelsea bagyokya ssaawa yonna wano rafa agamba kona but you can wonder basene engeri gye bayiseemu bano nakugambye Henderson Mowares bina mitegeera very fine very superb very classy in the way he passes the ball. Look at that. Chelsea balina okwegendereza Henderson Mowares ye yajja mu PSG bwe baba bajjukira yakuba pasi nenoonya Mahrez nga ne bwaba bakusaalira nino no bagireeta wano nga ne batomera ne kuvaamu emirundi egisembyeyo omukaaga tiimu ebadde esooka okuteeba mu UEFA Champions League ebadde etwala ekikopo Watchalong tiimu ebadde esookayo okuteeba yebadde etwala ekikopo. Can that be Chelsea or can that be Manchester City? Watchalong Gundogan now to Bernardo Silva looking for theirs. Nga tukakane Chelsea bakyaluziza tepa nengera wana yetolola ku bantu wano nje musanyolo ikai Gundogan yetolola nadamu nanyige mabegero bajja kulonda omuntu nengera wano Benjamin Chilwell n'agabakamuka kwetolola ne wano Kai Havertz banonya Kante wonderful playing bageza kugaba wano wantu Mason Mount looking for Rudiger bakakanya pressure onajja kubyolonda wano Chelsea and they capitalize nengera Havertz wana sawa yona Mason Mount bamwongera Havertz muno wana ina byagala kola Chelsea wana kandi bajja bagoja wano Chelsea abadde batandise kati no counter attack yino wano Raheem Sterling chakwere muno 2-3 nengera kati baweze 3-3 minus sawa yona wano Chelsea kabajja wano bali bagojawo Wayne Rudiger. Antonio Rudiger. Tuuse justice second inganya nga action tennabawo. Otherwise, waliwo no chance yina wano City. Wale Sechenko. Nanoonya wano muzanyi Raheem Sterling. Ne bagaba wano. Waliwo n'okuyiiya wano nengera Richie James. Magezi mungi. Ne budamu ne butonya wansi eno nengera okubatola Kai Havertz. And the referee saying he is indeed a throw-in for Chelsea. Bakulaga wano German Kai Havertz. He had a chance to do something here naye Nogaba won the team of Vanda ever. Eba yekazolite Chelsea singa teba yakusimula kitopo kikopo olwaleero. Their names we shall mention. Anga ne basinga baake ebizibu ono Vanda akapiira yawudde kawule. Omwana omuto Kai Havertz myaka 21 amutereddewo pass. Ebijanjalo by'abanne bagati babitereke ejja kubiri enkya 10 eddakiika Chelsea bala 0-0 timu y'amanaffe aba Manchester City umuneeno mabega abayiira Chelsea bala nsogigala ebintu by'ebituufu Pep byagaba Gundogan looking for Bernardo Silva. Chelsea, can they capitalize? Yes, Chelsea basisa omuntu emijoozi befanira agamba Furrekeke Ekaye Gundogan yali mu ttiimu y'abanafu aba Borussia Dortmund gye yava okujja ku ttiimu y'abanafu bano aba Manchester City okukwata wano emijoozi omuzanyi Mason Mount. Can that be a yellow card? Omutendesi abaneti tuwere bakakamu wano olwaleero guno gugwa leero bwe gugaana mu kyenda tujja genda mu penalty tujja soka mu extra time nengera no wano waliwo chance wano kairiro timu Vana muneno wansi mulungi ku kupesinga naye emiddako awo waliwo chance ino wano N'Golo Kante waliwo ayinza okubeera ng'ateekawo embeera tewali kata neno wano ani alina baye wano Phil Foden ne badamu ne bagamba 1-2-3 Chelsea balonda nengera Antonio Rudiger. Can they capitalize waggulu eno nengera yetololerayo simulala nnyo Mason Mount ne bagumusa Benjamin Chilwell nanonya Jorginho Luis Ferreira Rudiger ne banonya wano Thiago Silva Brazil nalizo musipala njogera ku Caesars Bridgewater for the first time bamuyisa ku national team wali baba n'omwanyi waliwo chance ya Chelsea wano nengerawo omuzanyi ayitibwa Havertz nengera wano referee yagamba balemu some sort of offside. Amulabye wano Sebrian omuwi wakatambaala Paul Sebrian amulabye namugambwe ssebo ebya offside tebijja kukola. Look at that chance wakati wa Ruben Diaz Pep namugamba Diaz Cheto baba Cheto UEFA Champions League final. Another one of Kevin De Bruyne, wonderful defending from one and only Thiago Silva. One of your family Ruero, Amali Ruitakui, one of family Ruero, Nduma Mukono, Chiankwanzi Chiboga, Amali Seta Wantoni, Chirakawe Sokoso Banda, Unapugudao, Tubabuziza kunyamana abali nama, tubabuzizaako nnyo abaana balisanzeeri Lugazi omalayo mwoti soroti oyima mbaale bamale kuwuliriza kyasiino ya Chelsea wano misinde nengera amadusano ye Mason Mount kati bayiya Benjamin Chilwell n'abatwala emisinde wano
abeera mukolanga bintu.
See Pep Guardiola might do a massive thumbs up, and you know what, the last All English final was very tightly cagey, wasn't it, when Liverpool picked Tottenham. We probably already had as much attacking endeavour, I think, in the opening 13 minutes of this one than we did in the whole 90 minutes 2 years ago. Chelsea, as well as finding multiple goals relatively hard to come by, have seen that defensive might slip that characterised the early stages of the Thomas Tuchel era in charge. No clean sheets in their last 5 matches, and somewhat fortunate not to have conceded early on. And now they're on the attack though with Hamilton to the area. Werner takes it in his stride and then can't get enough meat in his effort towards goal. Ederson's able to get down and make a pretty routine save as Werner side-footed it goalwards from about 8 metres out.
Yeah, I mean, I would absolutely love to play in this Chelsea team because they create so many opportunities. I mean, he should have put that one away again. Looks great he's getting these positions, but Havertz was there as well.
Werner now on the edge of the area, going the long way round and firing it into the side netting. Well, that's a big penalty from Timo Werner, and Thomas Tuchel turns around and urges the Chelsea fans to do their bit as well. Werner actually did better almost with that opportunity than he did with the earlier one. Put plenty of fizz on that effort, and if he'd done it with the earlier opportunity from closer in, it may well have been 1-0 Chelsea.
Absolutely, but we're seeing Havertz and Mount and Werner causing real problems, and they're picking the ball up off of Bernardo Silva and Gundogan and Foden, and we come back to it. No Manchester City defensive midfielder, and I think at the moment they're being overrun in that sort of area of the pitch.
That's our European football expert Chris Parrott, alongside myself and Leanne Sanderson, former UEFA Champions League winner, on Matchday Live as Chelsea have this corner, which is whipped in by Reece James, who does have very good dead ball delivery ability, but it's plucked out of the sky by Ederson, and the roar from the Manchester City fans tells you that they are on the charge here. Kevin De Bruyne rides the challenge from Chilwell and then bursts towards the edge of the area where he finds N'Golo Conte in the way, and suddenly the tempo is increased and the energy and the passion from the supporters as well is rising. It's exactly what we want to see.
Yeah, I actually thought that was Mason Mount back there, getting involved defensively as well. Kevin De Bruyne looked like he was well away, but this is such a great, it's only been 15 minutes gone, and it's so great to see. Both teams, nobody's sitting back, they're waiting for that opportunity, and, they're almost one slip, and anything is possible. Werner's getting in those positions is fantastic, but I agree with Chris, that they are getting overrun in that midfield a little bit, and almost like when the ball comes to Gundogan and Foden and Kevin De Bruyne, they have to take care of it so well because Chelsea can just counter them straight away because there's no defensive midfielder.
Gundogan in centre field, rolls it out to Riyad Mahrez on the right wing for Manchester City. Mahrez trying to hold off Chilwell, has to offload to Bernardo Silva, who tickles it infield to Gundogan. Chelsea have got numbers back, so they forced Manchester City to retreat. They've found Raheem Sterling on the left-hand side, only halfway inside the Chelsea half, so no imminent danger. But now a couple of quick passes almost set Foden away by the D of the penalty area. It's broken for Kevin De Bruyne. De Bruyne tries to roll it towards Raheem Sterling, and Reece James with a good strong challenge to win the ball for Chelsea, but it's almost lost by Jorginho in a dangerous area with Foden leaping in. And I think that the referee was happy that it was firm but fair as Chelsea come forwards himself now with Mason Mount, who hasn't seen too much of the ball but has poked it towards Timo Werner, who's found his way into the area, held up briefly by Zinchenko. Chilwell with the deep ball towards Conte, who is an unlikely headerer of the ball from that kind of range, but he got up well, couldn't keep the header down. Intelligent cross from Chilwell, perhaps a case of the wrong man in the right place.
Yeah, I think the misconception is when the players are smaller, they can't get in their heads on the ball, but all the players on my England team, the smaller ones, are actually the best in the air. But, it's very good that he's got there. He's going up against Sterling, and it's maybe he had the wrong player, but we've seen Werner get in those positions as well and miss. But at this moment in time, Chelsea are getting a lot of opportunities.
And I think our European football expert Chris Parrott spotted something as well.
Yeah, well, actually it's more... Can we just thank Pep Guardiola for this 11 mark? Because, the two games recently have been quite cagey between these two sides, particularly the FA Cup semi-final. And I think Rob Daly said in the build-up that maybe he's just looking to blow apart this final. That's exactly what's happened. The opening 17 and a half minutes have absolutely whizzed by.
Absolutely, Chris. Couldn't agree more. 18 minutes almost now on the clock at the Estadio do Dragao. Manchester City 0, Chelsea 0, but that does not tell the full story. Some really good opportunities at both ends, and after City had that glorious one for Raheem Sterling, Timo Werner has arguably had the pick of the bunch, but just didn't really test Ederson from close range. But I think at the moment Thomas Tuchel might be the happier of the two head coaches.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's good that they're creating those opportunities. I often wonder, it's Werner's first season in the Premier League. It takes a while to get up to speed with the pace. I think people underestimate that. But what I like about Werner is he's not afraid to get himself in those positions. From a player's perspective, he's going to be disappointed. I'd be very disappointed if that was me and I was getting in those positions and missing. but at the same time, you have to let that one go. And I think with the opportunities had so far, 2 or 3, you know, this is the luxury you have at Chelsea, where you've got Mount, Havertz creating those opportunities, and Jorginho in there and Kante to provide that protection as well. So the opportunities will continue to come.
0-0 between Manchester City and Chelsea at a sun-splashed Estadio do Dragão here in Porto in northern Portugal, and the supporters have certainly felt that it's been well worth the journey from England based on what we've seen so far. Zinchenko has won a throw-in out of his opposing number 11, Timo Werner, from an attacking position on the left-hand side, but City have decided to go backwards. It's now in the centre circle with Kyle Walker. Walker into the feet of Phil Foden, but the Chelsea squeeze has forced them all the way back to Ederson.
Yeah, I think Chris made a really good point before the game with regards to tactics and how much Foden's probably going to have to work back a little bit more than he would like to, and he's capable of doing that. But we just saw just now, you know, he's almost become a little bit frustrated early on in the game because he's just not really getting on the ball, and Jorginho and Kante are almost crowding him out. You know, stopping the ball from getting to him is the most important, because once he gets the ball, he's hard to stop. But they're doing a very good job at the moment, the two defensive midfielders for Chelsea, at stopping the ball and stopping the delivery from getting to him.
The cameras in the stadium briefly trained on the sitting Sergio Aguero, who's amongst the Manchester City substitutes, and I'm sure there are plenty of plot writers who have wondered if he might come up with a telling contribution on his Manchester City farewell. Plenty of the game left to go. 20 minutes gone. Manchester City 0, Chelsea 0, as it's brought over the halfway line by Ruben Diaz. Infield to Zinchenko. Not quite enough on that ball, which allowed Mount to get back there and win it back for Chelsea. Kai Havertz, long, tall figure of Havertz, brings the ball forwards, but then loses his way. And all of a sudden here come Manchester City with De Bruyne, who's into the area, tried to poke it with the outside of his boot across goal, cut out by Cesar Azpilicueta, but the flag was up for offside anyway.
In that situation, I'm surprised. I mean, we've seen De Bruyne do this ball many times on the outside of the ball. We've seen him do like a 50-yard ball in the Premier League in this situation. Sterling does very well here, and this is what pace can do for you, and it's a great end product. He's offside, just a little bit offside, but we can't say just a little bit offside, he's definitely offside. But I would have expected him to hit the ball with his left foot there and put it across goal, because I think him going on the outside of the foot in that situation allows the defender to get back into position, because I would say Kevin De Bruyne usually 9 times out of 10 makes the correct decision, but in that situation I personally think he should have gone with his left foot.
Mark, I think we've just seen the quality of this game there. That one slightly heavy touch from halfway by Timo Werner was the difference there between, in a split second really, Manchester City potentially being in on goal. Any slight error might be punished tonight.
Absolutely. The calibre of play is extremely high, as Chilwell has it for Chelsea, slightly left of centre, middle of midfield, and this time it's Manchester City who have pressed well and forced Chelsea back towards the halfway line. Azpilicueta's fired it into the feet of Kai Havertz. On the turn, Havertz moving forwards and has rolled it to the left. Chilwell into the area looking for Timo Werner, who was loitering around the penalty spot vicinity. Comes back out to Chilwell on the left, goes backwards of square to Mount. Infield to Jorginho. Chelsea going from left to right at the moment. Azpilicueta finds the feet of N'Golo Kante. Now it's Reece James, crossing position from the right, fires it towards the D of the area. Werner is there, quickly closed down by a cluster of sky blue shirts. That's hung into the area nicely, and Havertz was waiting in a promising area. City clear their lines. Rudiger collects for Chelsea. Still deep in the Manchester City half at the moment, but Chelsea have now retreated towards the centre circle, where Thiago Silva pings a hopeful crossfield pass to Chilwell. It's cut out, and can City do something coming forwards themselves now? They have it on halfway, and they will have themselves a free kick after Kyle Walker is chopped down.
Yeah, I sit here and I can't help but think how much more frightening Chelsea could be. I know these two teams have spent a lot of money, you know, over the years, but how much better Chelsea would be if they had an out-and-out goal scorer, because I think Werner and Havertz get themselves into great positions, but I think they'd be so much more dangerous if they could get a number 9 in that's guaranteed to score goals.
Here is Diaz bringing it forwards for Manchester City. They're midway through the first half, and it's been a very watchable 0-0 so far. And after that frenetic period to the game, things just seem to have flattened off a little bit, perhaps as two boxers just work out what their strategy is going to be for the next round.
Yeah, it's one of those things as a player as well. You can prepare all you want for these types of games, but sometimes you get to a game and you'd like to think it wouldn't be in a Champions League final that your body decides to not do the things you want it to do. But these things happen. But at this moment in time, both teams look like they've come here to win. And I think in the Premier League this season, we've seen a lot of these teams play against each other and almost cancel each other out. You know, the games have become very regimented, very tedious, very boring. But this one so far, and it's 0-0, 25 minutes gone almost, and it's been end-to-end stuff, hasn't it?
Absolutely has. UEFA Champions League Match Day Live. That's Leanne Sanderson, former Champions League winner, alongside us for the coverage. And don't forget, we are with you until 11:30 CET, wrapping up all of the reaction from this encounter. Thomas Tuchel trying to make himself heard over the fans, and that's something that neither coach will have been too used to this season, having to really bellow and scream out instructions, because they've been used to empty stadiums with no supporters inside the ground, and it is a real cacophony of noise inside the Dragao tonight, and that noise has gone up a bit more. Well, I think we all prefer it.
I would. No, if I was playing on the field and I couldn't hear the manager, if it was good things, you'd want to hear it, but if it's stuff, you'd prefer to hear, you know, your own teammates as opposed to the manager.
No news is good news, I guess, as a player when you're out there. And now with Chelsea winning this free kick in a inviting area, it's the supporters of the West London club who rise to their feet and make themselves heard. Free kick will be taken from the right-hand side then, with Edison just directing traffic at the moment as he gets his instructions to his defenders. Chilwell and James are the two Chelsea players over it. Will it be the outswinger from James or the inswinger from Chilwell? James with the outswinger. It was a decent ball as well. Havertz got his head to it from about 6 metres out. Nothing comes of it. James collects the loose ball, rolls it back to N'Golo Kanté, who decides to go all the way back to his keeper, Edouard Mendy. Slightly conservative approach from Chelsea there. Mendy's long ball forward is cut out by Zinchenko. And here now is Kevin De Bruyne for Manchester City. On the halfway line, rolls it all the way back to Diaz, who goes square to John Stones. 26 minutes played, City 0, Chelsea 0.
It's interesting, Mark, the pace is slightly less frenetic now, but just saw a close-up of Thomas Tuchel just saying track to his players. He wants Chelsea to keep this ferocious press up. Now, whether they can do it for 90 minutes, I'm not sure, but certainly that is the way that he wants his team to play, and he's demanding they continue to do it after what has been a very, very fast start.
It's European football expert Chris Parrott, part of our team on UEFA Champions League Match Day Live, as Raheem Sterling now bursts away on the left, tries to get the better of Reece James, and the Chelsea fans like that. James tracked back well, won the ball, rebounds it off Raheem Sterling. Goal kick for Chelsea.
That was brilliant from Reece James there, absolutely justifying the faith that Thomas Tuchel has showed in him. He's so good going forward, we know that. His crossing is fantastic, but there against Sterling and De Bruyne to win the ball and then to ensure that it's a goal kick was pretty impressive.
Raheem Sterling looks a little bit rattled by Reece James. So by his Foden suddenly finding himself into the area, and I tell you what, that is a magnificent challenge from Antonio Rudiger. Foden was through on goal. Rudiger threw himself in the way of the ball and made a sensational block to keep it at 0-0.
Wow, that is an unbelievable tackle from Rudiger. It's almost, you know, as good as a goal. I'm sure Phil Foden's eyes lit up. If I was in that position, I'd have thought I'd already scored. What an unbelievable tackle that was from Rudiger. Brilliant.
Well, it's 0-0. It could easily be 2-2 as Pep Guardiola now goes out and looks like an orchestra conductor as he aims to get some instructions to his players. Just seeing on one of our monitors Phil Foden in absolute agony at the fact he was unable to take that opportunity, really kicking himself that he didn't convert that into the opening goal of the game, but didn't really do too much wrong. It was just magnificent work from Rudiger.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I think I look at this and I think, what would I have done in that situation? You know, Phil Foden's obviously on a completely different level to I am, but at the same time, his first touch was brilliant. You know, I think Rudiger was just unbelievable tackle. Sometimes you've got to give credit to the defender.
Almost ballroom dance going on in the technical areas as Thomas Tuchel and Pep Guardiola both try to get their messages heard, strutting and jutting as they deliver those words of wisdom to their players. 0-0 at the Estadio de Dragao, UEFA Champions League matchday live. Manchester City and Chelsea tied at 0-0, but there have been opportunities aplenty in the opening half an hour or so. City with a free kick just inside their own half, rolled short to Stones, who finds Gundogan in the centre circle.
We were talking about team selection before the game, and I can't imagine how Jesus must feel. You know, Kevin De Bruyne playing in that number 9 role, and Kevin De Bruyne would be one of the first names down, if not the first name down on the team sheet. You have to fit them all in. But at the same time, imagine being a number 9 and someone else that plays, you know, in the midfield or the number 10 taking your spot, and rightfully so. But I'm sure the conversation early on in the season between Pep and Jesus must have been quite a difficult one, because I know I'd have found that quite difficult if they said, you know what, Leanne, you're not playing, we're playing a midfielder in your position.
It's a Champions League final, and we don't really have an out-and-out striker in either team, which is interesting, and maybe just shows the way that football is evolving over time, as Kyle Walker tries to utilise his speed to get to the byline, and has done, and wriggled it across. Oh, what an opportunity that was. And it was all down to the industry of Kyle Walker getting forwards from full back. Chelsea now have it in centre field. Timo Werner felt he was buffeted unfairly by Gundogan, and now it's Sterling who's released. Sterling goes for the curler. It rebounds off a Chelsea player and will be gathered by Edouard Mendy, but the boos ring out from the Chelsea fans because they feel that they should have had a free kick.
Yeah, it looked like, I'm not quite sure, I didn't think it was a free kick, if I'm honest, but they've obviously seen something. Thiago Silva was looking over to the linesman as if to say, why didn't you give that? But I think in this game, I think what people have to focus on is Gundogan. When he picks up the ball, he gives the ball as early as he can to Sterling. He's done it about 3 or 4 times now, and I think not only is he good, obviously, attacking Gundogan, we know he scored a lot of goals this season, it's the way that he's able to just pick up, quickly release the ball to Sterling, and I think Sterling's going to get even more joy. So if he can kind of pick up on his end product a little bit, Sterling, tonight, I think he could have an unbelievable game going forward.
That's the voice of Leanne Sanderson with us on UEFA Champions League Matchday Live, and our European football expert Chris Parrott has spotted something as well.
Yeah, just that Gundogan challenge on Timo Werner, it was like he had morphed into Fernandinho. Suddenly, just a physical challenge. The City fans loved it, and he's going to need to play that way tonight in this deeper role.
Zinchenko's lost his way on halfway and has been dispossessed by Timo Werner. Zinchenko gets back to block Werner's route down the right channel, so Chelsea have just had to hesitate briefly. Reece James has picked up the ball and he's opted for safety first and rolls it all the way back to Thiago Silva, who remonstrates with his players for nobody giving him an option. So belatedly he knocks it square to Azpilicueta, whose pass is cut out. Foden now rolls away from the challenge of Jorginho and is dragged down to win the free kick for Manchester City.
You know, for me, I personally think Kai Havertz has a lot to offer. I just want to see him get in the game a little bit more, because I think he has a lot of quality.
Well, he's shown some quality there as well by tracking
as
back
I said, he's done a brilliant tackle.
Win the ball off Kevin De Bruyne as he was looking to advance into a dangerous area. Just threatening to come to the boil, the game at the moment, as Kyle Walker almost knocks it one side of Ben Chilwell and runs the other. Would have been quite the feat, because Chilwell's no slouch in a foot race either. Back here with Rudiger for Chelsea, 32 minutes played. Manchester City 0, Chelsea 0 on UEFA Champions League Matchday Live. Azpilicueta rolls it back to Thiago Silva. Silva in turn finds his goalkeeper, Edouard Mendy.
Yeah, I think with players, you know, in this day and age, often when players come to a new team, people often think, you know, they cost this much money, and they often think about the price tag. But when I look at a player like Kai Havertz and Werner, you can see they have the quality. It just takes some players a little bit longer to adapt to the pace, and I think once Kai Havertz feels more comfortable, he'll be a top player for Chelsea. I have no doubt about that.
Reece James now on the search for Chelsea through the centre, has found Werner on the edge of the area, looking for an angle to try and get the shot away. Couldn't find one, so goes back to N'Golo Conte. Now it's Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta advances to the edge of the area. City have got plenty of players back there. Conte has rolled it square to Mount, who goes to the left, and Chilwell holds the ball up and goes back to Mason Mount once again. Mount forced further backwards, and Chelsea have gone all the way back to the centre circle now, and Thiago Silva, whose long pinged ball forwards, is cut out by Kyle Walker's header, which diverts it to his goalkeeper Ederson, who can make the gather. 33 minutes played, 0-0.
What a game, what a final. No goal yet, but it has been absolutely
enthralling. You're listening to Matchday Live with me, Rob Daly, on UEFA.com, the Champions League app, and live across North America on Sirius XM FC. We want your thoughts for half-time. Tweet us using the hashtag MatchdayLive and let us know where you're listening from as well, like Neil in Canada, tuning in with his pets at home. Keep your messages coming in and your thoughts on the 2021 UEFA Champions League final. Your commentary team for this one, Chris Parrott, Leanne Sanderson and Mark Scott.
Listening with pets, I feel honoured.
Pets Guardiola.
Very good. That's why he gets the big bucks. So we have just over 10 minutes left to play, and the first yellow card of the game has been produced by Antonio Lahoth here, and it's Ilkay Gundogan who has been brandished with the caution. A wry smile from him at the award of that. And we're just seeing the reason for it, and yes, an elevated boot onto the knee of Mason Mount.
Dangerous one, that, Mark.
Yes.
Because, you know, he is in there, not necessarily to be that goal-scoring creative midfielder tonight, but to break up play and to win some tackles, and he's going to have to be very, very careful. I just spotted something that I think the reason Kai Havertz is playing is because of his height and his aerial prowess as much as anything in the opposing area. And Chelsea had quite a long attack there, but he didn't get himself into the box, and you saw them have the ball in the wide position on the right and the left, but only really Werner in the box. And in the end, nothing happened. They couldn't cross it in. I think with Havertz, he needs to get himself into a more forward position inside the penalty area to either score with his feet or with his head, because he's very, very good in the air.
And Chris, one other thing, while we have a impromptu drinks break here with 10 minutes left to go in the first half. I mentioned it earlier, it's a squad game. Normally we only see substitutions from managers that aren't injury enforced from about the 60th minute onwards, but do you think we might see some earlier changes, given that they do have the luxury of 5 substitutes that they've not been used to domestically this season, both of these English Premier League sides?
Possibly it's a hot night. I'm just wondering whether Thiago Silva is struggling here. He looked like he was holding his groin area. Now, if Thomas Tuchel was to have to take him off, and it's looking like certainly a possibility right now, that would be a major blow for Chelsea. I mean, they have Andreas Christensen, who's, you know, a very, very good centre-back, but Thiago Silva's experience would be a massive loss if he is forced off before half-time.
Ironically, it looked like they sent out Olivier Giroud to warm up, from what we could see from here at the same time, but we'll have to see what formation they go. It'll be a massive loss for them if he has to go off.
Well, Thiago Silva has taken on some water and a couple of tablets and is now asking for permission to come back on, which has been granted by the referee. So Chelsea back up to their full complement as we see some statistics come up with Manchester City having more of the ball. No real surprise there. 58% possession with 9 minutes left to play in this first half. But it's certainly been even in terms of clear-cut opportunities, you would say. Timo Werner with a couple of good ones for Chelsea, who have now won the ball through N'Golo Kanté, who's surging forwards. He's got Werner to his left, Havertz to his right. He goes to Kai Havertz, who cuts in field and then tries to bite off more than he could chew. Showed too much of it to Zinchenko, who's able to take it off him and wallop it up towards the halfway line.
Yeah, I'm really surprised he cut inside them, because that's what they were showing him inside, and there was so much space on the outside. If he could have just taken a touch with his right foot, I think he could have made a shot on goal. But really good positive play from Chelsea.
And here's De Bruyne finding Riyad Mahrez now jinking and weaving in the area and getting it across goal, but it was catching practice really for Edouard Mendy, who just pats it into the ground and then makes the gather. Both goalkeepers wearing very noticeable outfits this evening. Ederson in what can only be described as a fluorescent pink highlighter pen type look, and Edouard Mendy in an equally bright green at the other end. And we have 8 minutes left of this first half, and Thiago Silva is down on his knees, and that brief respite where he came back on looked to be a bit of a false dawn for Thiago Silva, who is struggling, and Cesar Azpilicueta with a knowing look across to the bench. And here comes the change for Chelsea. Well, we weren't aware of him taking any kind of injury into this game. We're now seeing the incident that might have led to his discomfort.
but this one's definitely started well. But as you're right, you know, no team has really got a continuity of passes together, but as the game goes on, I'm sure it will start to settle down.
Listen to UEFA Champions League Match Day Live with Manchester City and Chelsea 0-0 after 6 minutes, and Kyle Walker has chased the ball down the right-hand channel and is adjudged to have impeded Thiago Silva. So much talk about the bright young talents on show in the shape of Foden and Mason Mount, and at the other end of the spectrum, the elder statesman out there in Thiago Silva, who of course played in the final last season and ended up on the losing side.
Yeah, I think you need that. I think sometimes, you know, people are too quick to almost, you know, mention people's age. When we think about Giroud, we think about, oh, he's 34 years old. You know, you can't be in your prime at that age, but age is only a number, and we're seeing that in Thiago Silva, and hopefully it will let other managers know that players can still play over that age. Not only a goalkeeper, you know, goalkeepers seem to play way longer than outfield players, but he's been an unbelievable servant. I can't quite believe he's not won the Champions League before.
Having recently turned 40, I'm certainly clinging on to that whole age is just a number theory. Here is Zinchenko for Manchester City. Neither side really finding their groove early on. It's all got a feel of sparring and shadow boxing at the moment without anyone taking any incisive steps, as Ederson steps outside of his area and plays it short to Ruben Dias, back to his goalkeeper. No pressure on the ball, so Ederson once again using that wonderful range of passing, and what a pass it is. Sterling into the area, one-on-one with Mendy. Raheem Sterling goes for the backheel finish, and it's deflected behind by the goalkeeper for a corner. What a pass from Ederson. That was absolutely sublime, and Raheem Sterling denied by a smart piece of goalkeeping from Edouard Mendy.
What an unbelievable pass that is, you know, so early on in the game to be able to ping that ball the way that he did. And, you know, I think Sterling had a decent first touch, but I think it was the second touch getting onto the ball that let him down a little bit. But definitely positive play from Manchester City.
And credit to Reece James as well for his tracking back there. So that's the first genuine opening of the game. Manchester City have it, and they have a corner from that save, and there's going to be a free kick for a foul by Zinchenko, and that's a bit of a waste for Manchester City to give away a cheap foul like that inside the penalty area. Zinchenko just holding on to Thiago Silva as he tried to rise in the air, and with 7 minutes played, it's still 0-0.
Interesting you mentioned Zinchenko there, Mark, because that ball from Ederson was almost identical to the one that he played in the semi-final against Paris Saint-Germain. Riyad Mahrez ended up finishing, but it was Zinchenko who got on the end of it, and clearly that tactic is something they've worked on again ahead of this match.
Absolutely, that's our European football expert Chris Parrott with us on UEFA Champions League Matchday Live, as City perhaps just start to crank things up a little bit, although no sooner do I say that than İlkay Gündoğan runs down a bit of a blind alley, and Chelsea have it back with Havertz on the halfway line. Collected now by Mason Mount. Haven't seen too much of him on the ball so far. Rudiger decides to launch it long, looking for Werner's running round the back. Causes a bit of a problem there for Stones, so it's collected by Kai Havertz just outside the Manchester City penalty area. Quick give and go. Havertz now gets to the byline. Werner! Oh, what an opportunity! And Timo Werner has once again, unfortunately, fluffed his lines. He ended up kicking the ball with his standing foot from about 6 metres out. That was a real opportunity. And now Raheem Sterling is surging around the left-hand side. No challenges coming in. Lovely ball across and smuggled clear by Rudiger. End-to-end stuff now. The game starting to liven up. Sterling has it, left side. He's closed down by Azpilicueta. It's by the left corner of the Chelsea area. They've been forced slightly backwards. Still 0-0 between Manchester City and Chelsea. Just under 10 minutes played, but chances now are starting to come along frequently. Zinchenko, corner of the area, rolls it back to Raheem Sterling. There's a wall of royal blue back there to block the path towards Edouard Mendy's goal, and eventually Reece James has been able to clear, but only as far as Zinchenko, who's taken the ball down nicely and has taken the ball out of play despite his feelings that Kai Havertz had impeded him. So we can all take a bit of a breather, and both head coaches can take a bit of a breath, because there were opportunities at either end.
I think what we're seeing here is why both teams were reluctant to take the opportunities and to attack, because when they went down one end with Werner, they went straight down the other end and almost scored again. But as I said before the game, it's great that Timo Werner gets into those positions, but he has to be doing better there. I think, his opportunities he'll get loads of opportunities for Chelsea because they do create, but in that situation, yes, it's early in the game, but I do think he has to do better in that position.
Promising signs that we are in for the kind of entertainment that we were hoping for, given that flurry of opportunities. Still 0-0, but signs that the game is starting to open up. There was a school of thought as well that if Chelsea were going to win this final, they would have to score the opening goal, because it would be difficult for them to get a couple against Manchester City. And actually it was interesting to read that Chelsea have actually struggled to score multiple goals. They've not scored more than 2 in any of their last 12 matches, so if they were to fall behind, it could be a bit of a tall order for them.
It's interesting though, and Pep Guardiola spoke about this yesterday, admitted that in the semi-final, in the early exchanges of both legs against Paris Saint-Germain, that they were vulnerable and they were probably second best, and I think that Timo Werner chance there was an absolutely golden one. So they're not having it all their own way again, and here come Chelsea.
Yep, Werner has got away on the right-hand side after a bit of a slip from Stones, and he slipped it in towards the path of N'Golo Kanté, who couldn't quite weave his way into a shooting position. De Bruyne now exchanging passes with Foden just inside the City half as the crowd find their voice once again. Plenty for both sets of fans to get their teeth into early on, despite there not being a goal so far. 12 minutes played, Chelsea have it with Thiago Silva inside the centre circle. Short square pass to Cesar Azpilicueta, who knocks a little ball into the path of Jorginho, and Chelsea have it with Thiago Silva lofted out to the left-hand side. Manchester City asking for offside it against Ben Chilwell.
I think what we're seeing so early on in this game is the nerves are there. John Stones looks so assured this season, and he's had 2 opportunities there where he looked a little bit, shaky, but these things happen. Him and Ruben Diaz have been so good this year, him and Ruben Diaz, back in the back line, but this is the Champions League final, so it's going to need, players to keep calm and just keep doing exactly what they have been doing. But in games like this is where I think Phil they come alive in games like this.
Just seen Pep Guardiola, Mark, do a massive thumbs up, and you know what, the last All-English final was very tight and cagey, wasn't it, when Liverpool beat Tottenham. We've probably already
Words. Jace.
He can't keep it together.
Do you know what? We said this. We said this before.
Let's
Like
not
calm,
laugh.
composed, chill. But
Yes.
we're 1-0 up, 45
we
minutes
are.
away
Yeah.
from something magical.
Yeah, we've been the better side. I think both sides have been a little bit wasteful, if I'm honest. You know, I think we have been. Werner's had a couple of good chances. There have been some good areas. I think that they've got into areas themselves where they think they could have perhaps done better. I think we've been the better side. What concerns me is that we have, from a Chelsea point of view, is that we have once again been the better team. And we've got a goal to show for it this time. But there have been games where I've gone in at half-time and I've spoken to you guys thinking, we've not got enough to show for it. We've got one goal. That's a good thing. If it happens the second half, I get the sense that are they going to be as wasteful? The second goal now, if we get it, it's so crucial. But look, it's been a brilliant first half. Thiago Silva was a huge blow, and we all know how we felt when he went off. We saw the reaction from him, devastated for him. But right now, the most important thing was that he made sure Christensen warmed up. That was obvious. You know, he's leading the team even from the pitch. There being a manager, but look, what a position we're in right now. What a position.
Carlton, I found it really intriguing as well to see your tactical view on the game, watching the game with you and see how you see it, because that's those little moments and those little sections where you can get half a yard. There's a couple of bits you picked up the Kante where he just gets those little bits extra. It's those things in a final. It's almost the little things that build up to something big. And Pep Guardiola's now got to find an answer to exactly what Thomas Tuchel's doing.
When it comes to the elite level, it is just little inches, this little bursts of momentum or just a bit of passion, a bit of a drive. Where Kante, that's where he is. I told you at the start, he's the engine, and he's the one that makes. When you see Kante just nicking the ball in front of someone and getting the free kick, or the timing of his, like when on the second ball, him being on the front foot and then knocking it into his own player, not just clearing the ball, knocking it into his own player. These little details are what makes a quality player, but it adds to a quality team as well. And that's what's happening. Look, the Timo Werner situation, he's not confident in front of goal, but he's still trying. He's getting there. He's dragging defenders out the way. He's creating space for Kai Havertz to get goals like the goal he did. His run across the left-hand side opened up the space for Kai Havertz to get in, and it was in a one-on-one situation, and didn't he put it away then? Brilliant.
Oh, he did. Hopefully we're going to replay that game quite a lot. Let's have a little look at the match stats. The first time ever Chelsea have been leading in a Champions League final, by the way.
Wow.
As you can see from the attempts, Chelsea have had the better of the possession so far. 2 shots on target to Manchester City's 1. Slightly dominating possession, only just though shading at Manchester City, 52-48. Fouls are interesting one as well, Jay, aren't they? Because those tactical fouls that Pep Guardiola sides do very, very well in terms of breaking up the play. They've not quite worked just yet, and the one time you think maybe if they would bring down a Mason Mount and stop him playing that through ball, that's when Chelsea have made it count.
Yeah, and it's something Guardiola's side do, and I actively encourage it because it's part of the game.
Yeah.
You know, you need to bring players down to gain an advantage sometimes. You get a yellow card, that's your punishment. But they're very good at it. Gundogan got away with one, but later on in the game he's picked up that yellow. So now he has to be very cautious about the way that he deals with those situations. And now because they're starting to not yet quite chase the game, but there will be a period where they become a little bit more desperate and start to take measures in which they don't know. He might get himself in an area where he gets caught in a situation where he has a choice to make. Either bring the player down, take a red. He won't want to do that, try and con the referee. But I wonder whether he might be one of those players that actually gets substituted because he's got a yellow.
Let's have a little look at our social reaction then, Abby, because I'd imagine the last couple of minutes you've been very busy.
Yes, everyone is absolutely buzzing. I feel like I've got a smile ache already, honestly. I'm so buzzing. This one's from Emily, obviously devastated about Thiago Silva coming off. She said it's heartbreaking. Please win this for him. Fingers crossed. This one from Kirk. He says, great goal by King Kai, but that through ball from Mason and then the dribbling emoji. That pass was unreal. I just want to replay that, I think, quite a lot in my head. This one from Ramatrandam. Kante is one hell of a player, just keeps on running. His energy levels are like no one I've ever seen. This one is from Abiksha. City's defence is being put into severe stress time and time again by Chelsea's thunderous counters. We definitely have looked the stronger side, haven't we? I just hope we put some more of those chances away in the second half. And just one more. This one is from Risheth. Mason Mount, what a pass, lad. He's the new Lampard for us. The comparisons keep on coming and he keeps being excellent. So We love to see it.
Well, if that's Kevin De Bruyne now, that's getting replayed for years and years and years. And I tell you what, let's have a little look at our reaction then, because we have kind of forgotten the fact that we're being filmed while this is all going on. So obviously this is halfway through. Dinner's on the go as well. Leave it. Nice little margarita pizza. Credits to the chef. Brilliant. Pizza's going down as well, Jay.
Well done, son. Brilliant, mate. Rudiger, unbelievable.
That was the tackle. That was the Rudiger tackle, I'm guessing.
Finish it. Finish it.
So this is the goal, obviously, but there's a slight pause in it. Coley knows. Coley's already going, hang on a minute. You never know. You never know. You never know. VAR.
VAR is like...
That was the pause.
That's what I'm saying.
We're so tense.
I don't celebrate. You're still going home in your celebration.
Do you know what? I looked... See,
you're going home.
I tell you what, a couple of people have mentioned the pass from Mason, right?
Yeah.
If you look at his run, if that pass is delayed maybe a second further, there is a chance he's offside. And Mason's pass, he punches it in.
Yeah.
Stevie Gerrard was the best. You punch the ball in, you zip it in as hard and fast as you can with accuracy. It's a brilliant pass. It truly is. But he's got to do it at that pace, because if he doesn't do it at that pace, there's a chance that Havertz is offside. Wow, I mean, what a goal. Brilliant goal.
Can I just add one more tweet in, just because I think it's really funny? This one's from Eddie. Reece James is living in Sterling's head rent-free.
Yeah.
He is winding Sterling up, isn't he? And he's not getting anywhere.
Well, Sterling has got no idea how to beat him.
Obviously, the reaction that we've had here as well. There's plenty more reaction going on in the fan park as well. Thanks to our friends at BT Sport for this as well. But how brilliant is this? Absolutely not.
Look at that.
Absolutely not.
You wouldn't be wearing that suit in there, would you?
It'd be
ripped to shreds. You're lucky you're in a calm environment here.
Amazing scenes. But again, this is the kind of thing, Carlton, that, you know, we've now got to take a breath. And you give us a little pep talk before we come on as well. Yeah. Calm down. 45 to go. Yeah. Let's get ourselves through it.
Look. By judging from what I've seen, I'm still quietly confident. We know that City have different gears, different styles of approach to approach this game. But what I've seen that first half gives me confidence, because although it looks like City's 52% possession, Chelsea still controlled the game. Like you can see when, especially in the last 5 minutes after they scored, they kind of sat in that mid block. And sometimes, most of the time, when you sit in that mid block, you're controlling the game, you're controlling the narrative, and they've got to break you down. So I'm going to be very curious to see what Tuchel does now to try and, because they're going to come at, they have to. They've got 45 minutes now to come at Chelsea and let's see what Tuchel does, because he knows the storm will be coming.
Is this exactly the game plan that Thomas Tuchel would have played out in his mind? You get a goal shortly before half-time. You've got the likes of Christian Pulisic to bring on for a bit of energy in the second half. You want to play.
We kind of got them where we want them. Carl's made the point there. Not underestimating what they've got, because there has to be a second wave, a second plan. But right now, it's up to them. What have you got now? Over to you. You've got the next move on this one, and I think the way that I see this kind of playing out, I kind of see us frustrated them. And I think that if the substitutions actually have the impact I think they might, I think we could go on and get a goal late last 15 minutes. If we play the way we can and frustrate, they will have to take risks they don't want to take. And I think this will ultimately open up opportunities for the counter-attack.
And one thing I would say, sometimes, like, obviously, Timo missed a few chances early on. But sometimes I feel, as a player, and against a good team like Man City, it's better to score a little bit later on, because it's more of a sucker punch. It wins them, you know. And when you score a little bit earlier, and then you have to defend, it's longer to defend, and then they've got time to get into their second gear, third gear. Sometimes it's better that time in there of that goal. Don't underestimate it, because it's like, as I said, it's like chess. And sometimes where you place your goal is the impact it will have for the rest of the game. And
Abby as well. I mean, the Rudiger tackle for me is one of the moments to the game. Thiago Silva's obviously, like we said, he's gone off, but that saving tackle from Antonio Rudiger, who again has been arguably second to Mason Mount, Chelsea's player of the season, especially the second half of the season.
Yeah, he's been so brilliant. He's like such an excellent man marker, isn't he? Nobody can get past him. But that tackle, yes. I mean, does a tackle ever get more crucial? That was going in from Foden. He was one-on-one, wasn't he? Just absolutely brilliant. All salute to Rudiger, a hero.
Absolutely.
So far.
All right, hang on.
So far.
And not to do your job for you as well, Abby, but I've seen the Cesc Fabregas tweet as well, waxing lyrical about Mason Mount. I mean, we know that Cesc loves watching the Chelsea games. Again, evening Cesc if you're watching. But I mean, when Cesc Fabregas is giving you the seal of approval to say you're doing things right.
I follow him on Twitter. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, he's absolutely loving it. But those are the kind of things we've seen Didier Drogba getting involved as well. When you get closer to something special, you've got players reacting, you've got people starting to believe in it. Like Abby's shown us with the social reaction, like we've all seen on our own social media channels. Chelsea fans are starting to believe now. You get this goal, and it wasn't against the run of play. We've not nicked it. We've arguably been the better side in the first half, definitely created the better chances. Yeah. That belief will be in the dressing room as well as in the stadium as well, won't it?
It's deserved. Look, when you have so much chances and you don't put one away, then you start to think, oh, this might not be our day today. But then, as you said, the Rudiger tackle, you can see the spirit of the lads. The lads are all together. You can see Kante's energy. Like, it seems like the day is made for it today. So, but I like to step back. I think VAR's made me like this because I used to get more excited, but now I'm just more reserved and just wait. And I just want to see what Tuchel does now to counteract what's going to be coming at him. So there's a long way to go. It's actually, the second half is always longer than the first half.
They now know what they have to score.
Yeah.
They have to score. So you're going to see another side of the City. You're going to see the City that we see almost every single weekend. What Everton saw last weekend, 5 goals. We're going to see now, we've got to score. We're going to see a relentless, possession-based, asking questions. Keep coming. Keep going. Like a wave after wave. If we can resist that, catch them on the counter, we could kill this, but do not underestimate what they still got under the bonnet.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, when we saw the lineup from Pep Guardiola, we assumed it would be a very attacking. They'd play on the front foot. They've tried to press quite high, but again, De Bruyne looks like he's playing as a false nine. They've got options on the bench, but you'd argue with Gundogan in there already, any change has to accommodate an attacking change.
He could come off.
But that's what I mean. You have to accommodate that booking from Gundogan. You can't just go throw all of them on because he's kind of played his hand, his most attacking hand from the off, hasn't he? Where does he go from here?
He probably does something similar. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if you see Sterling taken off at some stage and Gundogan because the pair of them haven't had the impact. Carl made the point before the game. He's not been playing well. Yeah. I can't believe he's in the side. I think he's overthought it. He might go back to basics. He might go back to what is good about them. But there's a worm in his head right now, and that worm is Thomas Tuchel. And you know he's getting the better of him once again. I'd love to know the stats on this. How many managers have beaten Pep Guardiola 3 times out of 3 in the space of 3 months?
Yeah, Thomas Tuchel's the only manager to have beaten Pep twice this season.
It's crazy. I mean, Thomas Tuchel's been called a worm and a chameleon on this show now, so I'm not quite sure how he's going to feel about that.
But yeah, you've got to salute Thomas Tuchel, haven't you? Incredible.
He's been fantastic since he's come in. Again, like we spoke about before, the players buying into everything he's doing, and we saw in the training yesterday, open training, they put the lines on the pitch, didn't they? And you saw the exact shape that he wanted to play. The last 5 or 6 minutes, it was a carbon copy of what we saw yesterday in training.
Yeah.
And that's so important that they know what they're doing. In terms of as a fan perspective now, Abby, how are you feeling more confident than the first half? Because a goal doesn't always change my confidence in the game. Does that make sense?
I do feel a bit more confident, but 1-0 is that scoreline where it's like, if City nick a goal quickly, I mean, the whole thing changes. But then I think because we've been so strong defensively all season, kept a lot of clean sheets, that brings me a bit of confidence. But yeah, I'm a whole mix of emotions right now. That second half is going to feel about 2 hours long, isn't it?
See, that is the worry, is it? It really is going to feel a very, very long time, and not too long actually, until we hand over to commentary. Matt Davies-Adams and Clive Walker doing a brilliant job for us. Boys, get us through it. The next 45 minutes are going to be tense.
We'll do our best, Joe. It's not going to be easy, though. Players just emerging back on to the field at the Estadio Dragao here. Clive, lots of talk about where this final was going to be played. Of course, it should have been in Istanbul. Lots of people saying it should have been at Wembley, but it is a beautiful, magnificent venue. And my goodness me, those 8,000 Chelsea supporters who've gone through all sorts to get here have certainly made themselves heard, and I think it's been a massive boost actually in the first half, in which Chelsea were the better team.
Well, I think it's a massive boost for football. I think that's one thing, is for sure, that getting the fans back in and into a stadium that maybe you know, both sides won't have seen too often, although Chelsea have been there. But you know, I just think it's a wonderful, wonderful stadium. Is this one in Porto, and I think the players are loving it, the fans are loving it, the occasion's great. The first half has been brilliant, and of course we've got a 1-0 lead as well.
Back underway then, no changes by either manager at half-time. Remember, Chelsea forced into that one substitution with Thiago Silva off injured, replaced by Andreas Christensen. So the Blues, Edouard Mendy is the goalkeeper, Azpilicueta, Christensen and Rudiger the back three, James and Chilwell the wing back, Jorginho and Kante in the middle, then it's Mount, Werner and the goal scorer Havertz as a front three. City as they come forward, but Kante makes a tackle to break that up. They have Edison in goal, and it's Walker, Stones, Diaz and Zinchenko, Gundogan who's on a yellow card, Silva and Foden, De Bruyne, Mahrez and Sterling. Remember, you can make 5 substitutions in a Champions League game in 3 batches, excluding half-time. Chelsea have already made one of those. The replacements left for the Blues, therefore, are Alonso, Kepa, Caballero, Emerson, Gilmour, Giroud, Hudson-Odoi, Kovacic, Pulisic, Ziyech and Zuma. City's replacements: Aguero, Ake, Cancelo, Carson, Fernandinho, Jesus, Garcia, Laporte, Mendy, Rodri, Stefan and Ferran Torres. Slightly surprised, Clive, that City didn't make a change at half-time. Now, as Joe was saying, you don't want to show your hand too soon, especially when you've got somebody like Gundogan on the yellow card, but you feel like Sterling's got to have a big 10 minutes if he's going to stay on.
Yeah, I think Sterling, for me, was the main contender to come off, because he's been poor in the first half. Just hasn't affected the game. Just contact there. He goes down yet again. Gets the free kick on this occasion. Still moaning at the referee. Good attention from Reece James. James, though, getting very close to him, not allowing him any space.
Little nudge to force him over. Free kick for City then. In a decent position this, about 15 yards in from the touchline. What would you say, 30 yards-ish from goal? Chance to swing one in.
Yeah, and it's this sort of time in the game as well. Kevin De Bruyne looks like he's going to swing this one goalwards. It's this time, isn't it, just after the break, when you feel you've got to keep it tight. We get to the ball first here.
De Bruyne and Foden both over the ball. Stones and Diaz have come forward from defence for it. So De Bruyne who leaves it, and Foden who sends it in, poor delivery straight to Kante's midriff, and he's able to get the loose ball near the corner flag right hand side, smacks it off De Bruyne, goes behind for a goal kick.
That's a dreadful ball, isn't it? You know, with the quality that Man City have shown in the past, you have to say what a bad ball that is. Kante and even Jorginho was behind him. No Man City player in attendance at all.
Well, you mentioned when we were chatting at half-time that Foden's not really been involved, and that was the delivery of a man who's not had many touches of the ball.
Yeah, it is. This is where the second half comes involved, and I'm sure the manager would have had a word with him. And he's got the ability, hasn't he, to get involved in the game, as has this guy, Mahrez, on the right-hand side. But it's important we keep the shape of the team as we did in the first half. The work rate has got to stay high.
Don't have a good record against teams from their own country, knocked out in the quarter-finals by Liverpool in 2018 and then Tottenham a year later. Here's Stones on the ball for them though, deep inside Chelsea's half of the field, goes square to Gundogan. Gundogan moves it left-hand side for Zinchenko, who's pushed it out to the flank, and Sterling up against James again. James gets his foot in, brilliant. And then Kante wins the second ball ahead of De Bruyne, up on halfway. Good recovery challenge though from Sterling to win it back for City.
Yeah, does well there, Sterling. All of a sudden the tempo rises yet again. The fans are getting involved more and more. City start to move the ball quickly coming forward. Chelsea back in defence now.
Gundogan out right hand side for Walker. And here's Bernardo Silva inside right position. Silva pushing it out to the flank again, and Walker's going to send a cross in, but straight into the gloves of Edouard Mendy.
Yeah, we'll take that all day long. Good positioning from Mendy, able to step forward and take the ball clean. Not the best delivery from Kyle Walker. We've seen him in the past put better balls in than that, but no one anywhere near that delivery.
Here's James, right hand side. Terrific first half he had. Only 21 years of age still, Reece James. Christensen then moving it off for Rudiger. And Chilwell up toward Werner. Werner with his back to goal. Touch from Stones, puts it out for a throw.
Do you know what, that's good. The way we did that, it went from Reece James far on the right hand side, back in field to Christensen, across to Rudiger, then to Chilwell, who moved it on quickly again to Werner, and all of a sudden we're in their half. You know, that's much better passing by us.
Havertz trying to flick one on. It might come through for Werner as well. Important touch to stop that from happening. Oh, and then a header which might be seized upon by Mount, but no, it goes through instead to Ederson. He'll quickly bowl it out as City look to get moving forward again.
It's important we keep the tempo high and we keep trying to force the errors for Man City as they try and come forward. They've got to get a goal somehow.
He played over the top looking for the run of Sterling, but again James' favourite to get there and did. Put his foot in, ball goes out to play for a throw.
And he can cause you problems, Raheem Sterling, but that first half Reece James had him in his pocket, to be honest.
Here's Stones. City striding forward again up towards the edge of the Chelsea box, laid off towards Zinchenko, couldn't control it, and now Chelsea can look to bring it clear. Rudiger, about 10 yards outside his penalty area, moves it backward to Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta up to Kante near halfway, trying to roll away from Gundogan, who's sticking tight to him. Played it to Werner, he gave it back to Kante, just over halfway. Now Jorginho gets a touch.
It's unbelievable, N'Golo Kante.
He's having one of those Kante games, isn't he?
He is, and we need that as well. You know, we need big games out of the players, and Kante's no different.
And Chilwell looking to link up, not quite in the same wavelength, allowed City to get possession back. Meanwhile, we've had 6 and a bit minutes of the second half. Chelsea still leading the 2021 Champions League final by a goal to nil.
It's been just as frantic, hasn't it, second half as it was the first, which is always good to see. It's an important game for both sides, and City need a goal. Chelsea just need to keep a good shape about them, but I'm sure there'll be more opportunities as the game wears on.
Here comes De Bruyne near the edge of the box. Brilliant from Kante, who is
stunning.
A superhuman. Remember, in the 2019 Europa League final, he was tremendous. He's almost been a cut above that, and he was on one leg that night. Now here's Rudiger. Chelsea with a lot of big game players with big game experience, but now Thiago Silva's off. Nobody who's ever been in this match out there on the pitch. Here's Ben Chilwell coming up toward halfway. Crosses into City's territory, inside left position, flicks it out to Mount, down the line from him to Werner, and Werner was offside.
Simple things, he's fuming, Thomas Tuchel at Timo Werner. He's only about 10-15 yards away, I'm sure he can hear him. Just going back to this tackle a few moments ago, absolutely brilliant from N'Golo Kante.
Here's Diaz. Stones now. Foden's dropped deep to get a touch, pushed out wide right to Walker. Foden wanted it back and eventually got it from Walker on the halfway line. Then Bernardo Silva moved it to Gundogan inside the centre circle. Walker then looked to work it out to Sterling, but was unable to, and that's a good ball forward looking for Werner. Important touch just to stop him from getting it from Ruben Diaz.
He's fortunate he doesn't play this just another 2 yards further forward. Reece James has just spun this ball down the line, and it's a great one for Werner to run onto.
Christensen will clear it away up toward halfway.
Good work by Kai Havertz defensively though to stop Zinchenko coming forward.
Eventually goes out to play for a Chelsea throw in their right back position. It's been an incredible open final. Sure, if you're a neutral listening or watching, you'd be enjoying it tremendously. We are at the moment, albeit with nerves a-jangling.
It has been such a good game, isn't it? Great spectacle for the game of football that we all love.
Chelsea in possession here with the goal scorer Havertz, who is fouled right-hand side as the Blues are on the attack.
Gundogan got to be careful, yeah, and he waves an arm at the referee. You can't do that when you're on a yellow card. It's a foul all day. I don't know why he's complaining.
Havertz is hurt by the challenge, but I think he's going to be okay. Free kick in a good position here to whip one into the penalty area, just in from the touchline, maybe 25 yards out.
Yeah, Ben Chilwell's gone over to take it right-hand side and spin this one in towards goal, you feel. I wonder if the likes of Kai Havertz can get on the end of this.
Players lined up along the edge of the penalty area. Werner just looking along the line, making sure he times his run right. In comes Chilwell's floated delivery toward Rudiger, headed away before it could reach him. Maybe a bit too floated that from Ben Chilwell. Kante again minding the shop on halfway, hooks it away as City look to break, and that will run behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, often the last man there usually plays the ball back to the goalkeeper, doesn't he? Kante tries to catch Man City out as they push forward and hook it back into space beyond, but just a little bit too hard.
10 gone second half, 1-0 to Chelsea. Havertz's goal on 42 is the difference between the sides. And then there's a nasty clash of heads there.
This is a problem for
Rudiger and De Bruyne are the two players down.
De Bruyne looks like he's hurt himself more. Rudiger still holding his head.
Tony Rudiger has already got a fractured cheekbone. The referee's digging into his pocket, but the immediate concern here is for the two players. There is going to be a yellow card. I guess it's going to be for Rudiger rather than for De Bruyne, but I wonder how much protection that mask will offer.
He's okay, Tony Rudiger. I've just looked at him and looked in his eyes. You can see from close range. Well, it looked innocuous enough, didn't it? Just a collision, as mind you, looking at it again, he stops his momentum, Tony Rudiger, which he's perfectly allowed to do. He doesn't step across the line to bump into Kevin De Bruyne, but the referee sees it as a foul, and Rudiger looks like he's going to get a yellow card.
There's a big old break here. Rudiger is sat back on his backside at least, but De Bruyne looks in a bit of trouble here. It is a yellow card for Rudiger as he gets back to his feet. So he's the first Chelsea player to receive a card in the game.
Maybe disappointed that he's got a yellow card, however, he'll take one for the team here, I'm sure. I'm not sure if De Bruyne, there was a clash of heads there. Might have just hit the shoulder of Tony Rudiger, which would have been very, very painful, and he's still down on his back and he still looks like he's struggling.
Well, this would obviously be the biggest blow, really.
Yeah, I think they're concerned about him here. I think the message has just got back to Pep Guardiola. I think he might be coming off here, Kevin De Bruyne.
City supporters chanting his name. Maybe you have concussion substitutes in the Premier League. As far as I'm aware, that has not been introduced into the Champions League. So if he's off, he's off.
Well, this might be more than concussion, though. If he's run into the shoulder, it could be a fractured cheekbone, possibly an eye socket or something like that. Even a jaw, maybe.
And again, from a neutral perspective, you want the best players out there. It was sad when Thiago Silva had to go, but Gabriel Jesus is ready to come on. And City must be wondering if it's one of those nights where everything's going to go against them.
Well, the other side of it as well, substitutions that you don't think are going to happen, and the player who comes on and creates havoc for the opposite. It does happen, so it could go both ways for City here, but it certainly looks like De Bruyne's coming off.
Even Diaz trying to help him up to his feet.
Surely that's not the right thing to do. Surely he shouldn't get involved, but De Bruyne is saying, pick me up.
He's got a huge welt under his eye, Kevin De Bruyne, and now tears streaming down his face as well. The former Chelsea man, his Champions League final is over, and putting all partisanness aside, that is a really sad sight to see, because you want the best players out there.
Yeah, but it's also sad for any player who's got the opportunity to play in a Champions League final to go off the field in this way. It looks like it could possibly be an eye socket. I've had one of those myself, whereas when you go into the dressing room afterwards, you take in air, you breathe, or you sneeze, or you cough, and it blows up like you've been punched in a boxing ring. And it looks like that. It's all bruised and puffy. It looks like it could get worse, and it could be a cheekbone even, or an eye socket, but it's unfortunate for Kevin De Bruyne, but rightly so, in my opinion. He has to come off.
Raheem Sterling has taken the captain's armband. De Bruyne, well, he's in tears as he makes his way off. Gabriel Jesus, I'm going to touch wood while I say this, Clive, never scored in 9 appearances against Chelsea. De Bruyne goes down the tunnel.
Well, we just got to get back into the game as we kick off again. We've got to remain focused.
Yeah, Rudiger just coming back on as the free kick was taken. It's into the penalty area, swung by Sterling. City say handball against Reece James. Massive appeals there. Obviously VAR are looking at it. Referee Lahoz said no. Of course they are reviewing it. But play's going on meanwhile, and the ball's gone back through to Mendy. He doesn't want it to go dead. The referee's pointing to his upper arm.
He said it went from chest to arm. He's hitting his chest first and then to the arm. We're just going to get another look at it. Let's have a little look. Yeah, it's his chest. It's right. It's the right decision. Great decision from the referee.
It's gone
but
to VAR.
VAR will check it. But my opinion there that I've just seen in full speed, I must say, I thought it was his chest, and the referee's made the correct decision.
And now we've got that situation where the game is going on whilst the check is happening. Got the graphic on the bottom of the screen saying VAR potential penalty check. Got to be bizarre for the players. Check over.
Yeah.
No penalty. Play goes on. Oh my goodness me, I'm not sure I can take another half hour of this. Here goes Phil Foden up to the edge of the penalty area. He's had a go and he's hammered it high up into the stands, and that rather sums up his night so far.
The referee's still explaining. The Man City player's still complaining. Yeah, he's right. It's in his chest first and then bounced into his arm. And his arm's in a natural position for me. So he's absolutely spot on. And I think there's no complaints from City. They know, but they're trying to twist the referee's arm. But VAR have confirmed it.
Mendy is going to put his foot through this one and send it skyward. Out to the right-hand side, headed by Havertz. City have managed just one shot on target, Chelsea 2. 5 shots in total for each team. Ball goes back to Edison, and he touches it out first time with Werner putting the pressure on. I was going to ask you about substitutions, but from a Chelsea perspective, there's no need to change anything at the moment, is there?
Definitely not. No. Got to keep it as it is, and it's Jorginho who's gone past Werner to close down the City defence, and they put the ball out. You know, Diaz has just hooked it wide towards Zinchenko, but it got it 10 yards wide of him, and it's a throw in there, rattled City.
Just got a shot on the monitor of Christian Pulisic. I hope to get on at some stage, but as we say, why would you change your winning formula at the moment? Chelsea, the better team. If they could get a second goal at this stage, it'd be very difficult to see a team, even in Manchester City's quality, coming back. They are going to make another change momentarily, our City, but for the moment they've got the ball, and stabbed out left-hand side by Gundogan, but he couldn't find his teammate. Now Havertz pirouettes on halfway, gets away from one, looks to his right, finds Reece James there. James plays the ball back into midfield to Jorginho, just over halfway inside the centre circle. Back from him to Christensen. Now here's Jorginho again, clipped the ball over the top and into space, but easy for Walker to head it back to Edison. 1-0, 63 on the clock. It seems to be going slower and slower.
Yeah, they'll probably go slower the longer the game goes on. He's unlucky there to not find a pass, Jorginho, but just between Werner and Mason Mount, neither there or thereabouts, to be honest, and City then regain possession again, but it's still frantic. He's still so much on edge as to what's going to happen next and who's going to score the next goal.
Here's Mahrez just over halfway, played it into Gundogan. He touched it out to Zinchenko. Both sides losing key men due to injury in this match. Thiago Silva in the first half for Chelsea and Kevin De Bruyne not long ago. Now here comes the latest substitution. It's Bernardo Silva, interestingly, given that Gundogan's on a yellow card, but Silva is the man who's giving way, and Fernandinho, who loves a red card against Chelsea, has actually scored in this competition against the Blues for Shakhtar a long time ago. He comes on. I wonder if this ends as is, if they might think they should have started him. But anyway, Christian Pulisic is going to come on for Chelsea soon as well, so that shows what we know, Clive.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see who comes off, because I think we've been absolutely brilliant going forward and got ourselves into great positions.
Might say the way the game's gone, Mount would be the leading contender.
Not for me, because I think he's keeping Kyle Walker quiet. I think he's doing such a good job there. I've got a feeling it'll be Timo Werner, to be honest, and Kai Havertz and Mason Mount alongside him have been terrific, and I don't think you need to, although Mason's not been involved going forward too much. Okay, he's made the pass for the goal, but he's kept Kyle Walker quiet, and I think that is so important.
Walker playing it infield, now he's got it back as they attack. He's Foden chipping one out left-hand side for Sterling. Now Zinchenko. City on the attack, but cautiously. Chelsea with players back in numbers. Potential break on here. Back with Chilwell in the left-back position. City managing to block that option for a break as it's played up toward Werner. Headed away, but only to Jorginho. And Fernandinho put a boot in on him, but plays going on. Good take from Havertz. He's gliding across the pitch at the moment. Looks a totally different figure to the one we saw back at the start of the season, Kai Havertz.
I wonder if Fernandinho's going to get a yellow card when this bit of play finishes.
Christensen doing well under pressure, meanwhile, from Mahrez, but then the ball rolls out and behind, and the referee is going to have a word with Fernandinho. I think he's going to say, as that was your first one, I'll let you off.
Benefit of the doubt.
Don't do it again.
Yeah, he's gone over to Jorginho and said sorry for it. It's not a good challenge. Just seeing it again in slow motion. Stamps on his foot.
It's why they pay you the big bucks, Clive. Off goes Timo Werner, and you could forgive him for being devastated about it, but he's taking it well. He's not smiling as he comes off by any means, but he's applauding the Chelsea supporters. And on comes Christian Pulisic, who makes some history. First American to ever play in the Champions League final, and he will go and try and pin back Alexander Zinchenko for the closing stages.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think Werner's been terrific. I think his work rate has been superb. I think the opportunity he had was the one chance maybe for scoring a goal, but his involvement in the Chelsea goal was different class.
Here's Gundogan for City inside the centre circle. We're nearly at the midway point of the second half. I think we'll get 5 minutes of stoppage time for that De Bruyne injury at least. Meanwhile, play's been brought back. Another card is coming out here, is it? No, it's just a free kick.
There was a tackle there as well from Kante, yet again. So quick to get to the ball.
Free kick is for City, left-hand side. Well, De Bruyne's got an ice pack and he's standing watching on. I suppose that's a good thing because he could have been whisked off to hospital if it was really serious.
Yeah, I don't think that's broken looking at it. It's not swollen up enough. That would usually swell up a lot more, so maybe just really bad bruising, and you can understand him being brought off.
Free kick for City, left-hand side then, halfway inside Chelsea's half, and it comes into the penalty area. James got enough on that, but the key touch was from a City man, so it's out to play for a Chelsea throw.
Changed his mind there, the referee as well. I think he went with his assistant on this near side, who waved his flag the opposite way, and referee's gone with it. So Chelsea can take possession with a throw-in, and also, of course, at this stage, Matt, 3/4 of the way through the game, slow the game down.
Here's Stones, plays it back in field to Diaz.
I must say as well, with Christian Pulisic coming on, nothing's changed. He's gone central. He's gone where Werner was. These Havertz and Mount doing the jobs that they're good at.
Well, here's Foden. He's broken the lines. He's up to the edge of the penalty area. He's away from Christensen. Moves it to Mahrez. Great ball across, but Gundogan couldn't tap it in because Cesar Azpilicueta was there to turn it away for a corner.
Do you know, on normal occasions, I'd say this is a goal for City. I think the ball in by Mahrez has not got enough pace on it, and it gives Azpilicueta a chance to get there. More pace, it could easily have been a tap-in.
Corner was taken short, but they've made a mess of it. Miscontrol has allowed Pulisic briefly to get back on the ball, but he was barged over by Walker. No foul, though, according to referee Lahoz.
Too quick, isn't he, Carl Walker? That's his recovery. That's brilliant. Many would say Pulisic should have done better, but the recovery was different class. Oh, there's a problem here for Azpilicueta.
And he's gone down and immediately.
His knee. Yeah, this could be nasty. His knee could have gone here.
The referee stopped it. Azpilicueta's down and not really moving.
I'm not sure. Looking at him now, I'm thinking there's a collision, knee on knee. Yeah, and it judders and it jars your knee, and
as footballers, you're terrified by that, aren't you? Because you know if you get a knee injury and it's a bad one, it's serious.
I think also, I'll say it this time, I've said it before, that we all have that funny bone in our elbow that we talk about. When we get a knock on that bone and the tingling that goes down your arm and into your hand is frightening. You wonder what is. You've got one on your knee as well. And that first reaction from Azpilicueta is honest, he's hurt, he's feeling it. But that comes back quite quickly, if that's all it is. Let's hope so.
He's getting treatment from two of Chelsea's medical team at the moment as the Blues supporters continue to sing their hearts out. Pep Guardiola, all in black, comes out to the edge of his technical area, wondering what he can do to affect the game. We see the opportunity a moment ago that Azpilicueta was in the way of.
Gundogan for a tap-in. I just think it's about the delivery in. It's on Mahrez's right foot, not his best foot. If he puts it in on his left foot, we could have been in big trouble. Thankfully, Azpilicueta is okay.
Yeah, he's back on. The play's back underway. We've got 20 minutes plus stoppages to go. I mean, we might have another 30 minutes to go if it carries on like this. No surprise players going down with injuries given the torrid season that they've had. So intense, so many games. Hopefully they'll never be asked to do this kind of thing again. Here is Pulisic. Couldn't get it past three defenders.
That's where he needs to keep the ball. We've got to ease the pressure now as City come on time and time again.
Ball chipped into the Chelsea penalty area, but James underneath it. Played back in by Zinchenko, cleared away by Azpilicueta, out for a throw halfway inside Chelsea's half, over on the far side.
The trouble is, while it's 1-0, you're all on edge, you're nervous, and it'll get worse as the time wears on. But you just wonder, while it's 1-0, is there going to be one chance for City?
Fernandinho inside the penalty area, moves back to Sterling. Now here's Stones off for Ruben Diaz, fully 30 yards out, motion to shoot. Jorginho committed, now he moves it out to Mahrez. Mahrez flipping one into the penalty area. Again, not a good cross, easily headed away by Andreas Christensen.
It's poor, isn't it? Poor by Mahrez. We know he's got better quality than that, but just hasn't shown it.
City have had 56% possession. Chelsea are ahead in the only stat that truly matters.
Well, there's only one stat at this stage, isn't there? And we're in front. Let's hope we can hang on to this, or even, you never know, might get a breakaway goal or an opportunity as well for that. I think if we get two, Matt, the game could be all over.
He played out left-hand side to Zinchenko, making his way to the edge of the penalty area. Cross is blocked by Kante. Azpilicueta got his head to the second ball. No foul by Kante second time round. Chelsea will look to bring it clear. Kante right-hand side in his own half. Oh, flick on was nice for Havertz, who can charge through the middle here. He's got support as well if he wants to lay it off for Pulisic inside the penalty area. Pulisic! Oh, it's just wide. That was the opportunity to wrap it up for Christian Pulisic, and he couldn't take it.
Unbelievable. What a chance for Pulisic just to lift it over, and as soon as he comes out, no foul. Kante going with Gundogan for the goal, but great play by Kai Havertz. I'm not sure if he's made the save there. Has he got a touch off it, or it's just gone over his hand? But
wasn't a great angle, was it? And
no,
Edison had
what
closed
a
it
chance.
down.
What a chance. Just waiting to see it hit the back of the net, weren't we?
Looked as though it was just for a second. I wouldn't call that a sitter by any means.
No,
it's a good chance.
He had work to do, and I think Edison does well, gets out quickly and closes down the space.
Here's Foden. Hoping to impact the final, hasn't really done it yet. Now Mahrez right-hand side, Rudiger trying to shepherd him out of play, but Mahrez has done well to hold on to it. Back with Foden again now, clipping across into the penalty area, headed away by Azpilicueta. Mount trying to get Chelsea clear, but picked up by Foden. Foden gives it short to Fernandinho.
Having good pressure, aren't they? Good possession of the ball, City, and it's important we stay strong here, stay focused, remember what the job is. So far everybody doing their job, and I just wonder if we might need some fresh legs over the next 5 or 6 minutes.
There's Fernandinho, he moves it out to Zinchenko. Diaz forward. Fernandinho near the edge of the box, sliding one down to Sterling. Can he get there? Dead ball line, pulled it back. Jesus missed it and then cleared away by Chilwell. That was a great opportunity.
He's done well there, hasn't he? Ben Chilwell just to step into the right position to clear the ball away. Sterling does well, gets away from Reece James. Maybe Man City are starting to up the ante a little bit more. We've got to be resilient here.
Out left-hand side with Zinchenko. Touched off by Diaz. Pushed out wide to Mahrez now, right-hand side up against Chilwell to work it infield. Jesus touches it off to Foden, inside right position, not far from the point of the penalty area. Now Mahrez out wide, played it infield. And eventually Chelsea able to win it back, and now they'll be able to break up toward halfway. Another City substitute coming on at the next breaking play, but Mason Mount has it, left-hand side, goes back to Rudiger. Looking for a route back to Edouard Mendy, and he found it too. 15 minutes plus stoppages to go. Manchester City 0, Chelsea 1 in the 2021 Champions League final. The last game of the season for these two. The champions of England versus the team who've won this trophy before. The 8th different final between two teams from the same country. They've all happened since the year 2000. The ball's played out to the right wing and eventually picked up by Pulisic, point to the penalty area, infield to Havertz.
No urgency now from Chelsea. Once they get possession high up the pitch, can they keep it? And that's what they're trying to do, but if there is an opportunity, they'll still take the chance.
Mount into Pulisic, and then Mount has a go from outside the area, drags it a long way wide.
Yeah, not had any opportunities as he Mason Mount. Probably the wrong thing to do on this occasion, but when you get the chance, as we saw with Pulisic a few moments ago, just drifts past the far post, and Thomas Tuchel goes down on his knees, head in hands. Can't believe it. Neither can Pulisic.
Well, Raheem Sterling, who's not had a good game, is being withdrawn here, and Sergio Aguero, the scourge of Chelsea so often, 15 goals in 22 games against the Blues. His last ever game for Manchester City this. He's on for the final 14, unless City can equalise and we'd go to stoppage time.
Well, the one thing you don't want is to give him a chance, because I think if he gets a chance, he'll put it in. And I think that's what we've got to be aware of. They might not get too involved in all the build-up, but they come so alive inside the penalty area. So it's important to try and keep the ball away from him. Not always possible, of course.
There's Stones inside the centre circle. Off for Fernandinho, and now out wide right with Kyle Walker. City on the attack near the edge of Chelsea's penalty area. Walker's cross deflected by Chilwell behind for a corner.
Yeah, a little bit lucky, aren't they, in getting the deflection there. And Ben does his job, I suppose, trying to block the cross as Mahrez comes over to take it. In swinging corner from the right-hand side.
Mendy organising his defenders. Mahrez waiting to deliver. Now he does that into the near post, straight onto Chilwell's head, who nods it away as far as Foden.
It's a poor ball again, isn't it?
Over it comes once more though. Rudiger got his head to that one.
It's a better one, isn't it? Better ball in, but Tony Rudiger steps into the space and just puts his head on it, fires it 30-35 yards away.
City still in possession with Foden left-hand side, halfway inside Chelsea's half of the field.
Chelsea quite deep at the moment, but quite compact, and that's important. You know, City will try and probe and push and put those slide rule passes between the lines if they can. Chelsea just sitting back now and accepting the scoreline and maybe hitting on the counter-attack if they get the chance.
12 to go, plus add-ons. There'll be at least 5 minutes of stoppage time. Ball floated out of play by John Stones. Mateo Kovacic about to come on.
There's a poor ball by John Stones there. He's just drifted it out into the crowd almost, and Chelsea just taking their time, overtaking the throw-in.
Interesting to see who Kovacic comes on for.
Well, I think before, as you said, fresh legs. The only person I can feel it will be Jorginho. Chelsea
Chilwell making a change, goes behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, he's done well. Kyle Walker trying to force the occasion again and take on two players, but...
Kovacic for Mount, Clive, is the change.
Okay. Maybe there were some tired legs there that Thomas Tuchel has seen. He feels we need some support there for the on-running Kyle Walker.
Well, this is massive for Mateo Kovacic, because he was a part of 3 Real Madrid squads that won the Champions League. Twice he didn't get in the matchday squad once he didn't get in the matchday squad for the final, twice he didn't get off the bench. They won every one of them. Now he's 10 minutes away from getting a medal.
Yeah, he just put up 3 fingers as you would expect, so more attacking Mason Mount's been taken off and withdrawn, and Kovacic going in alongside Kante and Jorginho to tie that up in the centre of midfield. Good decision for me.
Cleared away by Mendy up to Havertz. And now Pulisic doing really well to roll away from Zinchenko. Right-hand side, but again, not showing much ambition to get it in the box, nor does he need to. It's all about keeping the ball. If Chelsea have got it, City can't score. Kante inside right position, out to Pulisic. Well, he played it forward that time, expecting Kovacic to make a run. Maybe Mount would have, but not really in Kovacic's nature, and eventually goes out of play for a throw.
Now Jesus is complaining about a push, having a go at the referee and the assistant. I don't think the referee's too happy with that. Close contact between him and Azpilicueta, but wasn't a great deal in it. It was good to see other players complaining continuously. You know, you got them in your pocket when they're like that. 10 minutes to go, and I guess it'd be a frantic 10 minutes. I don't think I can sit still for sure.
It's definitely 5 minutes at least stoppage time, isn't it? I think given the substitutions, Chelsea might have a chance to kill it once and for all here. Oh, Havertz's pass for Chilwell just forced him a little wide. Now he's near the corner flag and tripped by Kyle Walker.
Yeah, I don't think Kyle Walker's done it on purpose, but he's got too close. He's got too close and he's caught Ben Chilwell. I don't think it's anything nasty or anything like that, but you can't do that. Just comes in a little bit too close, steps on his foot. Easy for Ben Chilwell to go down, of course, but easy as well for the referee to make a decision. Now this is in a good place. Was it barely, I suppose, about 12 yards up from the byline, and 3 or 4 yards outside the penalty area, so referee suggesting to the wall. There was only 2, there's only 1 now that they keep their arms down, otherwise he'll give a penalty. But good chance here with a good delivery from Ben Chilwell.
Just a one-man wall to negotiate. Chilwell again floats it in, cleared away as far as James, and then out for Jorginho to hit one. He kept it low, but it flew a long way wide of the goal. 8 minutes of regulation time left, still 1-0 to Chelsea.
A decent enough contact ball, Jorginho, but it's got to be speculative from there, hasn't it? Coming across your body, it's a difficult one to take.
There's Fernandinho. Bring it out and move it to Mahrez on halfway.
Do you know what? I've got a feeling we might pinch another goal, Matt, you know. Just think we've got the energy and the legs to take us through. Defensively, we've been excellent, even since Christensen came on. It's been good momentum from us. Good work rate from the front 3 to close down.
City coming forward again.
That's a great turn.
But eventually Chelsea emerged with the ball, although Rudiger was hurt in that challenge. Kovacic has got it now over halfway left-hand side. Played it infield to Havertz, who flicked it, but Kovacic has been fouled, so Chelsea get a free kick on halfway.
Yeah, free kick, and they'll take their time. Jorginho talking to the referee, that's always good. Waste a few more seconds. Rudiger got a bit of a thump in the challenge a few moments ago as well. Not too much.
It was sliding in on him, but he's okay.
Not too much, he'll be okay. It's a good challenge by Fernandinho, to be fair. Both big, strong players, aren't they? They can handle that. And again, the free kick has taken, what, 40 seconds to take? Winding the clock down all the time, Chelsea. It's just getting slower and slower, this clock, Matt.
It says 83 minutes 30 seconds at the moment as Azpilicueta launches on forward but overhits it all the way through to Edison. Lots of tired legs and tired minds out there for both sides.
Well, we've got a great opportunity here. And I think we need to stay focused as we can.
Chelsea coming into the game in pretty poor form, it must be said, but in the Champions League knockout stages they have been terrific. Atletico Madrid, Porto, Real Madrid, you can't say they've had it easy. Reece James making another challenge, ball goes out for a throw-in over on the left as far as City concerned, halfway inside Chelsea's half of the field. 6 minutes to go now, plus stoppages. Here's Stones. I'm shaking like a leaf, I don't know what it's like for you. Ball played toward the edge of the penalty area. Oh, and James has missed the header, and it's clipped back in far post, and what a poor cross, and it was Mendy able to grab it from Gundogan's delivery, and Reece James, that might be his first mistake of the game, he's got away with it.
He just got underneath the knee, and it's Aguero in the left-hand side who, do you know what, if he'd have been on a bit longer, when you make a mistake like that for Reece, you dive in at the next opportunity. If he checks back onto his right foot, I think we would have been in massive trouble there. But thankfully tried to clip it in, and it was a poor ball.
It was Aguero who sent it in. Now here's Zinchenko on halfway. And then Fernandinho. Fernandinho plays it forward, back with Gundogan now. Gundogan up to Jesus. They've got Jesus and Aguero on now, and Foden, all the attacking talent apart from De Bruyne is off injured. Kovacic then loses out in midfield.
Just put under pressure by the pass from Pulisic as we were trying to make a counter-attack, but City coming back again through Kyle Walker.
Walker clips it in, it's a good ball as well, but it's just beyond the two City players attacking it, Aguero and Foden, and behind for a goal kick.
What a ball, what a ball. Tell you what, when you see two players from Chelsea's defence go to make a challenge and change their minds, you worry. The first one was Azpilicueta, I think, who just tries to step forward and win the ball. He doesn't get there. Mendy as well steps forward as if he's coming, then he steps back, and you think a City player gets on the end of it, it could have been a goal. Great delivery. Thankfully, it drifts out wide for a goal kick.
Cleared long by Mendy. Oh, he's tired. He's just thumped that straight out of play for a throw-in on halfway.
He's had a busy day, hasn't he?
Maybe his ribs are still hurting. Now here's Fernandinho inside the centre circle. Still 1-0 to Chelsea. That Havertz goal 3 minutes before half-time, the divider. Good ball in from Fernandinho into the penalty area. Christensen gets something on it. Ball goes behind for a goal kick.
He's done well there, Christensen, hasn't he? I just thought he was a bit late reacting and getting back into position.
Thomas Tuchel, the chief cheerleader of the Chelsea supporters, and they love it. He's urging them to make more noise, and they are more than happy to do so.
They've been brilliant, haven't they? And you can understand it. Chelsea have been the more dominant in the attacking sense of the game.
How incredible for him as well, Clive. It's his third game where Chelsea supporters have been able to get behind the team.
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
One of those was the FA Cup final.
Yeah, the adrenaline rush and the buzz you get from the fans being there. You can obviously feel it. And obviously the goal has made all the difference as well. It's lifted the fan noise, and they are giving it to the Chelsea players, and they're absolutely loving it.
3 minutes plus stoppage time to go. My guess would be that there would be 6 minutes of stoppage time at the moment. Let's hope I'm wrong and that there's one. James, meanwhile, trying to win it back near halfway. Foden using his fleet of foot, but he couldn't get around Kovacic, and eventually
yellow card.
There is a yellow card in there.
Jesus gets it. I mean, it's a ball he couldn't win, and he's gone through Kai Havertz to try and win it. And the referee gives him a yellow card. Bit of frustration, maybe. Just comes in late. Maybe it's the swing of the left leg as well that wraps around his body. I don't think Havertz is hurt, but of course milking it for every second he can and trying to wind the clock down, as we've all been doing since we scored, I think, Matt.
That's some young Chelsea supporters you can hear. Gabriel Jesus, the latest City player to have a yellow card shown to him. 88 minutes on the clock. Well, wherever you are in the world, we thank you for joining us. I'm sure you're sitting as uncomfortably as Clive and I are, but we're nearly there. Rudiger plays the ball over the top, looking for Havertz in the channel. He might be able to keep it in play. Just about done that. He's done really well. Coming of age night for Kai Havertz. Here's Jorginho. He'll find Kovacic 30 yards out. Moves it left-hand side to Chilwell, edge of the penalty area. Flicks it down the channel for Pulisic, who comes back out the box and gives it back to Chilwell. He moves infield. Now here's Pulisic again. Left-hand side. Chilwell takes over. He's near the corner flag. He goes down under the challenge of Jesus. No free kick this time. Jesus looking to bring it away is barged over by Pulisic, and that'll be a City free kick.
Well, it's all action still, isn't it? 88 minutes, and the game hasn't changed, Matt. It's been absolutely brilliant to watch. Obviously, the goal we scored makes a big, big difference, but the frustrations that are going through the Man City players must be massive. Chelsea trying to keep as calm as possible, trying to run this clock down.
Into the final minute of the 90. Zinchenko on halfway.
There's going to be 5, isn't there? It's got to be 5 minutes.
Ball comes back in to the penalty area. Chilwell's missed it. Opportunity here as it's sent back in. Great challenge from Andreas Christensen, and then away from Mateo Kovacic.
It's a great challenge, isn't it? What a good block. Just as Foden was going to pull the trigger, Christensen gets there quickly, makes the block. Chilwell slips. All of a sudden you're thinking we need another player, and he steps into the position. Andreas Christensen, terrific challenge.
Well, here comes the 7 minutes of stoppage time. Oh my goodness me, this is
Didn't need to see that, did we?
unbearable.
Didn't need to see that. I don't think the Chelsea players did either.
Here's Gundogan, left-hand side, level with the edge of the penalty area, dispossessed. 7 more minutes of the season left potentially for Chelsea. Jorginho with a tired clearance that goes out of play for a throw-in.
Yeah, I mean, he's just saying, talk to me, but you're right, it's a tired hook forward, gives City possession again, and forward they come again.
Ball played up to Foden, touched off by him for Mahrez.
Oh.
Great footing from N'Golo Kante, who manages to win it back off him and find Pulisic on halfway. And then Havertz goes down and wins a free kick. You just can't say enough good things about N'Golo Kante. He's in his position, the best in the world by an absolute mile.
Yeah, with man of the match as well tonight. I mean, he's been absolutely outstanding. Just getting the chance to see that opportunity again for Foden on his right foot, but Christensen gets there so quickly, makes the block.
City supporters can't believe it. Chelsea on the edge of the penalty area here with Kante.
That was an important touch by Jorginho, tired touch, but he gets a chance for City to break, just slows it down, throw in left-hand side. Still got 5.5 to play, so plenty more football yet, you feel. Can we hold out? That's the question.
A challenge on Jorginho, which has sent him sprawling, but play's going on. Up towards Havertz, one back though by City, and Fernandinho's got it inside the centre circle. Zinchenko shifting it wide right to Mahrez. 2 minutes of the 7 that were signalled for stoppage time have gone. Christensen heads one out the penalty area for a throw-in, about 10 yards up from the byline. Walker wanting the ball quickly.
Long throw-in from Kyle Walker here, and it's the first time we've seen Mahrez as well whip one in from distance. He hasn't done it the whole game, had opportunities, hasn't done it. It's desperation stakes for Man City, but Chelsea need to hold out.
In comes the long throw from Walker, cleared away. Chilwell manages to wallop it up toward the halfway line. No one in Chelsea blue there to get it though, so Ederson comes up to halfway to get it. Now we know he can pass it. He's going to ping one in here, up to the edge of the penalty area. Who's going to get there first?
What a header as well.
Chelsea's defending has been magnificent so far. 4 more minutes and a little bit more for them to carry on playing as well as they have done, as Pulisic tries to get out to Zinchenko on halfway. Zinchenko plays it down the line though. Kante's got it back after Reece James made a great tackle. Kante on halfway here, under pressure, goes down. He was waiting for that contact. He knew exactly what he was doing. He got the free kick. The man's a genius.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I mean, 10 out of 10 for me. N'Golo Kante, 10 out of 10. But I tell you what, it's the sort of player you want to keep for such a long time, and I'm surprised that people haven't been in for him. He's been magnificent today. Chelsea slowing it down again. 3.5 minutes to go now. Free kick, 5 yards inside the Man City half.
We're halfway through stoppage time. City have got a free kick.
Yeah, a push by Havertz. He's going to take a yellow card here, Havertz. I think for his troubles. He could get one here. Just trying to stop Ederson from taking the free kick.
Boomed up by Ederson. Yep, City attacking down Chelsea's left. And they get a cross into the penalty area, but it's blocked by Chilwell, out of play for a throw-in.
Again, defending well in numbers. Kovacic getting across. Then Chilwell making the block. Another long throw from Kyle Walker, though.
And it comes from the right from Walker. It's hurled in. It's a good one too, but there was something in there the ref didn't like, and he's given Chelsea a free kick.
Well, it looks like a foul on Tony Rudiger, who's gone down, but I'm not sure that wasn't a foul throw as well. He's actually on the pitch, Kyle Walker, when he takes the throw in, but not seen.
Yeah, Rudiger then the meat and the sandwich between
Diaz's got his arm all over his shoulder as well. I don't think John Stones has done anything particularly wrong. He's backed in to try and get underneath the flight of the ball, but squashing Tony Rudiger in the meantime, and the free kick goes Chelsea's way.
The Chelsea supporters making the noise, 2 minutes away. Clive Walker pumps the air. But this is massive, of course, in the history of this football club. Anyone who's got any kind of affiliation with it, never mind having played for the Blues, will be, well, they'll be having kittens at the moment, but they'll be about to have the party of their lifetime. Everything that everybody's been through over the past year, what a way to hopefully put a full stop on that. What a performance it's been tonight. There's still 90 seconds to go, but Chelsea have been magnificent.
I think they've been magnificent to a man. I mean, we talked about N'Golo Kante being the best player out there, but chance here for Jesus.
Jesus inside the penalty area, but being forced wide by Christensen, and then Christensen puts it out for a throw.
That's what I mean about, to a man. Even Andreas Christensen, who's come on as a substitute late in the first half, again focusing on his job, does it really well. Long throw-in again.
And it comes from Walker, hangs in the air for an eternity. It's allowed to bounce a couple of times. It'll break on the edge of the box here for a shot that whistles just wide from Riyad Mahrez, with Edouard Mendy rooted to the spot, getting nowhere near it, and City inches away from equalising in the 7th minute of stoppage time. Oh, it's a lick of paint, Clive. It is inches. It's a frog's hair away from going in.
Oh my goodness me, what a